Oh yeah, what's going on, our sinners? Welcome back to the Sin Bin Podcast, episode 10. And we're coming at you live and direct. I'm your host, the toxic offender, Moodz. Yeah. And of course, I got all my sinners up in the house with me tonight. We got the Mexicans, aka JP. We got the Saucedo, also known as Tyler. And of course, we have Downey, the Shiner Hartman. What's going on, my sinners? Yeah.
What's up, boys?
Yeah.
Welcome to our super special Halloween Spooktacular, which sucks because Tyler decided to pick like nothing spooky at all and like the worst boring movie, and then I decided to pick also another stupid boring lesbian movie. So this is our Halloween special, boys.
What was the movie it was between? Because it wasn't a horror movie. Because that's ultimately why like Bloodlines got picked.
I don't know. I think anything else would have been better than Bloodlines at this point.
I forgot what the movie was. But it was like
on that Cruel Britannica set, wasn't it?
Or Delirium.
Oh yeah, Delirium.
Oh yeah, because JP didn't want to do one of the titles from the Britannia set or whatever.
To do all three if we're gonna do that set.
I mean, I would have been cool with that. But I feel like I'm very confused.
Maybe we should have just done like all three of that set.
I said it earlier this week. Yeah. Tyler is banned from making suggestions for the featured review for at least at least the rest of the year.
It's going to turn into one of those things where he's like, I never picked the main review.
I'm saying this won a vote. Everybody voted, and this was the winner.
You're not.
No, you bullied us into it, man. You bullied us into it.
How did I bully you into it?
You just did, man.
Actually,
I'm partly blaming JP for this because I mentioned doing Crucible of Terror, and then he's like, no, I don't want to do one of the box set, and I'm like, fair enough. It's fair enough, but then we could have just done all three, but whatever.
Yeah, nobody suggested that.
It is what it is.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. That actually makes it a Halloween special.
Decisions sometimes can be really bad, or they can turn out really funny in this case. I think this episode might be a little entertaining based
That's
on
what I'm saying. I think it'll be a different flavor with this one.
Not me.
I feel like it's our Halloween spooktacular episode. I know you can see like Sam back here in the pumpkin, and then I'm wearing a black Christmas shirt. I'm fucking confused.
Mm-hmm.
I just like my holidays, I guess, man. I don't know what's going on. I sat down and I was like, well, that's weird. I didn't even do this on purpose. I'm an idiot, but
I can't put my black Christmas shirt on unless it's December. Like, I feel like it's just like a crime.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. The reason why I'm wearing this shirt right now, it's not only because it's new, it's because I was reviewing a Canadian film today on the 31 Days of Horror, and so I put on a Canadian shirt to represent. And it was just new, so it just went hand in hand. I do that sometimes. I kind of correlate what I'm doing. I don't always do it, but and I just didn't change after, so. And big ups to JP for getting me the Phantasm beanie. It's cool. It's cool. But I am drinking a pumpkin ale right now. That's got some pretty cool artwork on it. Yeah. Can't pronounce what the fuck it's called. But that's from Parallel 49, which is a microbrewery, craft brewery in Vancouver. So, Charz to the Charz, guys. All right, episode 10. Wow, it's already been 10 months since we've been doing this. I'm still having fun, even though we'll get into it, man. We'll get into it in a bit. So how's everybody been, man? Coming straight off Wasteland. I know we already talked about that, the 22 shots, but that's not this podcast. This is the Sin Bin. Did you guys pick up anything from Vinegar Syndrome?
I don't think I did, which is crazy because the last 2 years I picked up a lot from them, but I wasn't like actively on Vinegar Syndrome like I am now until like this year.
It's so weird. I feel like the majority of the people that are at Wasteland either buy a lot of stuff from the website or are subscribers, because I felt like that table wasn't the busiest. It was Severin. Like Severin was just getting ravaged over there, man. Like
I think people just buy Vinegar Syndrome like so frequently that are probably like at places like this that like Severin I spent a lot of money at because like I buy so much that like I only buy things that are like on sale basically. That like you don't really get that opportunity as much with Severin. and
they had some good deals. To be honest, like I spent a fuck ton of money. I'm not going to disclose how much I.
Yeah, they kind of didn't
at all.
Yeah, they gave me they for the amount of money I spent, they should have given me more than like
I spent like $250
off,
and I'm buying $50 4Ks. Like this.
Well, to be honest, it was still. I'm just saying it was cheaper than the website. Everything that I picked,
it was cheaper than the website.
Even though even the Jess Franco titles I picked up, $15 Blu-rays were good. Like those were good prices, man. But
and you're saving on shipping.
Well, that's exactly why I don't buy a lot of Severin throughout the year. I save it for those moments because it just the shipping kills me like a motherfucker. But even like I grabbed the Emmanuel box set and that was way cheaper than the actual website. So it is what it is. But I mean, but I feel it's funny because I feel like Vinegar Syndrome obviously was doing okay. It wasn't overly that busy. Severin was getting ravaged. And then you got the Synapse table where I don't think one person at Wasteland even bought anything from that table.
Because the Synapse prices are literally like SPR. Like
they're more expensive than Amazon. I was at Wasteland. I don't know if I told you guys, but I had 2 Blu-rays coming in the mail. It was Killers and the other film that they just released. And I paid less on Amazon.ca for those than they were at Wasteland. American.
Yeah, shit was crazy. I don't know if I've ever bought a Synapse disc at a con.
I actually did.
What's the deal with that?
Right.
I did buy one, but it was like a kind of like corner case example. It was Life and Death of a Porno Gang, which is an old release, and it's not easy to come by. Even like you can't really find one on Amazon for.
Well, see, when you got to remember when Synapse was releasing those titles, they were actually quite cheap. Like you could go on Amazon and get those for $20. Like I would buy that on Amazon.ca for 20 Canadian. Yeah. That's why I have the whole back. They were cheap, and now they're expensive as fuck. But like the con prices, you think would be a little bit more of a bargain, but they were more expensive than Amazon. So people are like,
or at least be willing to like give you
the website.
I mean? Yeah, but that was 30. So for that tile specifically, that's actually really not bad because that is a little bit harder to come by now.
Yeah, it is an older one. It's got to be 10 years old, 10, 12 years old now.
Yeah, it's like 10, 12 years old. And like, so it's not really that accessible.
Right.
And like $30 like cash is not bad for that.
Did you watch it?
I didn't watch it yet. I bought a lot. I'm so backlogged with stuff.
Dude, that movie's fun. Everyone's going to hate me for saying that, but I think it's fun. It has its moments. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I've heard some kind of wild things about it, so it's always one I'm like curious about.
Yeah. Yeah, good stuff, man. But yeah, Wasteland was a success this year, man. Everyone showed up. It was good times, man. It was really good times. So hopefully Vinegar Syndrome. I bought the kid actually I got one of them, like one of those mini skateboards from Vinegar Syndrome. Oh, and cool. I think they only had 3, and when on Sunday when I looked at the table, there were still 2 left, so I was the only one that bought one.
That's probably the only thing they sold the whole weekend.
Yeah.
It actually, I kind of did feel like you could see their stock depleting over the weekend, but maybe I don't feel like it was like this before, but I felt like all they had there was like just the most recent releases.
Like, they definitely had more recent releases than in the past, I feel.
Were they doing what Severin was? They were on the con tour, and like when they got to Wasteland, like when I was talking to the dude, he said they had a lot more titles because I asked him about my grandpa's a vampire, and he's like, no, we sold out of it at the a couple other conventions, and I'm like, oh shit, and he's like, this is just what we got left, and I'm like, really, that title sold out? I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, that's such a random thing to sell out, but
I had that as like a bargain title.
Yeah, it's funny because it's the last copy of the Psychic, and there wasn't like too many operas.
Yeah, I was surprised at some of the shit I grabbed, like that they actually still had. Because if they weren't restocking during that tour, I was like, holy shit, that's pretty crazy. But
I would have loved to grab. I was so jealous when I saw you had Blood on Satan's Claws. I would have loved to grab that.
Well, like I told you, I made a point, right? I said on Friday when we first go in, we're gonna make a beeline to the Severin table because they're gonna have shit that's gonna sell out in 5 minutes.
Yeah,
I was the one that bought the Macabre Volume 3. That was the only one. I bought the Emmanuel. Yeah. That was the only one they had. And like,
as you were leaving, I was coming into the area.
I got the Caligula set, the the box set with the coin and shit.
Yeah.
And
that would have just been like a bonus thing. Though.
I saw a funny one time. I saw something funny happen with that box set. I was at Living Dead weekend, and there was I bought a bunch of stuff from Severin. I pretty much hung out at the Severin table most of the thing, just because I was like talking to him. But I was like standing there talking to the guy, and then like some woman like came up to the table, and basically it was like really awkward, but she was like, my daughter bought this and spent all her money on this, and we want to return it because she thought it was the original film, and like her daughter seemed like maybe a little special needs. And it was just like it was like so awkward just because like they're like she can't meet anybody now or something.
What the fuck?
And I was just like, dude,
what was it?
It's that Caligula box set, but it's not the original film or whatever.
Well, but like which one? Oh, okay, yeah. Of course, not the original films, but
how many are there?
Well, there's 2 of them. Fuck.
Is there 3? I thought that was idea. 2. Isn't that 2 of the other ones, but not the original? I don't know anything about those movies.
No, I think there's more than that.
I thought that
like
the one Severin sells is like pornographic, right?
Yeah, it's Joe D'Amato's and Bruno Mattei. It's 2 films.
That's what I thought.
And of course, Joe D'Amato
movie was.
We know D'Amato is doing a lot of the Emmanuel films, so they're pretty highly sexualized.
McDowell's in that, right?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and these are the uncut versions too, because I think that like for years they were floating around. They were pretty. There was a lot of shitty versions of them. So of course, Severin's not going to release shit cuts. They're not Shriek Show.
Yeah, like the thing about like the Severin's like customer base too is like nobody in Severin's customer base is going to knowingly buy like the cut version of that.
They were just so fucking awesome, dude. Like everyone that bought like a certain amount of stuff, I don't even know what their threshold was to give away all the swag and all the posters and all that shit. Like I got so much stuff that
they did give me a bunch of stuff. Yeah.
I took some of it back home, but I gave Dave Z like a fucking Dracula vs. Frankenstein poster, and he's like, "Oh fuck, awesome!" Like I was flying, so I couldn't take it home. I gave away a couple other things to people.
My opera poster. I was a little bummed about that. I couldn't take that home.
Yeah, so I gave away a couple other things too, and I was like, well, you know what, whatever, man. But like they were fucking awesome with giving away shit. Like they made up a whole Jess Franco like, to go package. Like care package. I'm like, that's really fucking cool, man. So I got home and looking through it, I'm like, holy shit, that's pretty cool, man. But yeah, big ups to Severin with the swag and shit, man. Like I think they held it down. It was pretty cool to see TerrorVision there. I'm not gonna lie, like JP, when we were talking to the dude from TerrorVision, I really wanted to just talk his ear off and like ask him so many questions and shit, like just because we've talked about TerrorVision, like they're an interesting company, right? But I don't want to do that when there's other people looking to buy shit or even ask questions and stuff. You don't want to get in that conversation. So you got to be respectful of other consumers, right?
Yeah, I didn't do that.
Yeah, so like we just kind of vaguely talked about some certain titles. Like, hey, what do you think about this one?
I went over there and talked to him for like an hour at one point.
Yeah, like I talked to him a couple different times, but like I just wanted to get into it. I'm like, hey, I didn't want to be that dude and be like, yo, man, do you want to do like a conversation on a podcast? Come on, 22 shots.
I think that dude would totally be down. I've heard that dude. I think
next time, because you'll meet him before I do again. Give him a card.
I like that guy a lot. He was telling us all kind of cool shit.
Yeah, really cool stuff, man. He just seemed really down to earth. But he just seems like one of us. He's a fan. He likes the same garbage that we do. And like, but he's honest about it too. He's like, this movie right here is like, it's not really that good. We put it out, but it is what it is. You're being real about it. Like, so that's cool.
He did tell me he'll never ever announce titles like he did that one time again.
Well, he said the backlash of it was like people misunderstood everything that came out of that. They expected that all those titles weren't just being announced, that they were coming out the week after. And it was like, you expected us to release 110 titles like the next week? What do you think this is? Fantasy football?
Yeah, it was
like that's unrealistic. Why would you ever?
It is totally unrealistic.
That many movies at once
because people are stupid.
He was just like
how much money that would cost to like.
But
People
remember
are
when he
so
did that?
dumb sometimes. They have like no common sense.
It's
Like,
like, dude,
No
please,
common
like,
sense.
lose your
These are
brain
like
for
these
like
are
a
probably
second.
these are probably two guys in like a fucking rented warehouse. Like, what kind of capital do you think they have to like release 110 movies at once? Are you smoking crack?
But we'd even talked about that, JP. Remember, we're like, man, that seems pretty crazy because like we brought up the fact I'd never heard of any company ever announcing that many movies at one time that are potentially coming out. Like we got what he was doing. They're potentially coming out at different times. Like they're eventually going to come out over time.
Yeah,
People took it literal and like it's fucking Tuesday, bro.
I
Why
gotta
are
look at it. How
110
long ago was
titles
that?
out? But
How
like
long
from a
ago was
consumer level,
that?
like why would you want that many titles released at one time? There's no fucking way you're ever picking all that shit up, man. Release them over time.
Yeah,
Keep your pockets full, right? So
Well, it's mostly probably people that are interested in one title on there and are just
right.
like expecting it, like because it was announced.
The
yeah.
thing I didn't like about it though is that, you know, if you're gonna release or announce like that many titles in one time and give it to the public, honestly, dude, 2 weeks later I forgot. So I'm just like, whatever, the excitement's gone. But like they're not being re-announced. They're just being released over
How
time.
long? How long ago was that announcement?
That was last October.
Yeah.
I gotta check out this list and see what's on there.
There was, I think, 50 titles.
It was crazy.
I wonder how many of the 50 have actually been released in the past year.
I was
It's
thinking the same thing,
Good bit,
Tony.
actually.
I was actually thinking about that, and I assume quite a bit. They've re-released some titles, like they redid. They put another edition of like Killing Spree, Video Violence. I think some of the earlier titles that they were doing with Vinegar Syndrome, things like that. So they have re-released some things, which is pretty interesting. But those
Yeah,
are
I
also
picked,
probably really good sellers for them because Killing Spree and Video Violence made sense for the first couple releases. Get
Yeah.
something going with the label because those are titles that us scumbags love. And
Yeah, I
so
picked up that Video Violence set. That was great.
the original one, yeah, the hardbox, yeah. I didn't grab the re-release, but I was
That's
tempted
what I
to just
grabbed. I
because
grabbed the re-release.
I'm such a sucker for anything Video Violence, man. I got the tape
Yeah.
sitting right here. I probably even showed that a million times, but here's the TerrorVision tape
Oh my goodness.
sitting right
Yeah.
there. Yeah, I love me some Video Violence, but yeah, good stuff, man. So
Oh, also, I don't know if you guys saw, but apparently there's some beef brewing between Vinegar Syndrome and this company called Refuse Films. You guys
okay,
Oh,
so I was
yeah,
going to ask you, who is Refuse Films?
Yeah, I have no idea who that is. I think they're a European brand.
Are they?
I think
Yeah.
they're brand new. Like they're just starting up.
So are they? But they have to be American though, because they shouldn't have beef with them. It's European, different rights,
It is UK, and they have beef because apparently, like Vinegar Syndrome's like telling a lot of the
This is all
online
legit.
distributor like websites not to carry those other people's copy of Cannibal the Musical because they only want them to sell their copy because it's American.
Right.
But some people are
Is there any like
about
evidence of that?
That's the
have you seen
thing. Like,
anything
what is the
concrete?
evidence? The only thing I've seen is like Facebook comments and like. I
So
don't-
are we talking like we know there's different rights for different media releases too? Like is Vinegar Syndrome putting out a 4K in the UK? Are they putting out just a Blu-ray? Because those are different rights, right?
Well, it's all about Cannibal the Musical.
I know, but I'm talking
think
about the
there's
actual
something
media
about-
release of it though. Like you
So
can still acquire the Blu-ray rights in the UK, and they maybe Vinegar Syndrome has the 4K rights, but they can't release the Blu-ray because the UK has the rights for the Blu-ray. There's still that.
I think it's just the UK has rights to release Cannibal the Musical through Refuse Films, and Vinegar Syndrome has the rights in the US.
Well,
but
I would assume that Vinegar Syndrome would have straight up rights but then again, it's weird because we all know the Vinegar Syndrome connection with Trauma and Lloyd Kaufman, right? They have a deal to distribute a lot of their films.
Apparently,
Trauma owns that film.
I think like the people that are from this Refuse Films are former like Trauma employees or something.
Okay.
Some people. But I don't know if it's true about the Vinegar Syndrome like blocking that release. I haven't seen any like thing that
like
says
any
that.
official, just
Yeah, that's the thing.
I haven't even seen anybody say that really. I've just
Yeah.
heard rumors that people are saying.
I think it's just gossip.
I mean, there is still ways. I mean, like 88. I mean, you have UK companies releasing trauma stuff that have deals with them, and then of course Vinegar Syndrome and stuff. I think like Surf Nazis Must Die. I think that was the title, wasn't it? There was some trauma stuff released through 88
I feel
films,
like
right?
I feel like if it is true, there's something
And
like
they
deeper. Like
Yeah,
I think it has. I if I had to guess, I would think that it has to do with like the transfer, because
well, that's what I thought it was.
The key difference, because apparently Vinegar Syndrome. So it was like a weird, like that movie was shot on 16 millimeter and then it was edited on tape and then blew up to 35. And Vinegar Syndrome is using tape and 35, whereas this other company is using 16 and tape. So theoretically, the refuse version should be better theoretically because they're actually using the original 16 millimeter as part of theirs, whereas Vinegar Syndrome is using a blown up 35 and tape.
But are they actually using a 16 millimeter like film element?
I can't
if it was
imagine
edited on tape.
I can't imagine
that doesn't make any sense.
No,
Wait,
Vinegar Syndrome. That doesn't make any sense to me.
Wait, what?
If it was edited on tape, how could they be using a 16 millimeter like element? That's what
because it was shot on 16.
So are they re-editing the movie?
That's what I'm thinking. Like, is that what they did, or? But the way that I'm looking at it is, I feel like maybe that because we know Vinegar Syndrome will use like everything that's available. You know what I mean? If it's gonna improve. So I wonder if maybe like that people refused to work with Vinegar Syndrome with the 16 millimeter because maybe they only had access to it.
That's kind of what I thought maybe too.
Started. That's the only like that's just purely a theory, but
yeah, I mean it makes sense. I mean Vinegar Syndrome takes pride in their restoration work and stuff, and working with a 16 millimeter print would be a lot better working with a blown up fucking 35 millimeter from a tape transfer. That would be horrible.
And like
right, but that's what they're doing.
I know.
Hypothetically,
I mean, so what you're
just me following the breadcrumb trails. Let's just say that like they have distribution rights in Europe, and then Vinegar Syndrome has them here. Like they should be able to play ball, right? Because like they're not encroaching because you're limited to each other's territory. So
right.
that
but
would
I think that
no, but I think it comes down to the elements. Like the elements are different though. Like it's not just the rights, and a lot of times
I'm just saying hypothetically with the elements. Like let's just for argument's sake, let's just say that like Vinegar Syndrome has region 1 rights and they have region 2 rights. So like hypothetically, like
that is
it shouldn't matter. Hypothetically, it shouldn't matter if like they use the 16 millimeter print because they're both like only have it for their own distribution. And if
but if this refuse company is like, nah, fuck that, we ain't sharing. Then
like they might be like, okay,
then Vinegar Syndrome might be like, all right, well then fuck that. I don't want any fucking indie retailers carrying that shit in the US.
Like, yeah, exactly. That's the same breadcrumb trails I'm following.
Yeah, and you're never going to be able to stop that, though. You're never going to be able to stop.
You might be able to, bro.
For companies importing Diabolic's going to fucking carry both versions. They don't give a fuck, man.
Okay, like this is all just speculation still, but like, let's say you're Diabolic, right?
Yeah.
And Vinegar Syndrome is like, yo, we're not gonna stock you anymore if you carry this title.
Well, I mean, then you make the decision, obviously, to
but
not compromise.
But I would imagine that would be like, okay, well, fuck, I have to have Vinegar Syndrome stuff at my store, so
yeah,
it's possible. But I don't know. Again, I don't know if any of this is true. It's just
I think. I mean,
this is all just speculation, and like there also on an like element I'm thinking about it too is like. I'm not in the film game, so I don't know what like the gentleman's thing to do is, or I don't know what like like the code is like with like doing like scenarios like this. But maybe like these new guys like are kind of going against something that typically like releases will do in these things. Like I think about like Second.
It's like Vince McMahon not respecting the territories.
Yeah, and it's like I I just think about it like this way because like like with like Picnic at Hanging Rock, like Criterion like Second Sight's restoration so much that they're like, can we just use your restoration? And they were like, yeah, dude.
Yeah, they pay a price to use a transfer and stuff, but I mean, if it comes down to that, like it sounds like this other company just has the better elements, and Vinegar Syndrome doesn't really want that being exposed, considering they have the lesser of the two, and they're not able to work through it.
Won't share with them. You know what I mean?
Well, exactly, because I mean, honestly, a print, renting the rights to a film is one thing, but then having a print is a totally different scenario. Like I have a buddy, Greg, who actually owns the 35 millimeter print that 88 Films used for the release of, I think it was Burial Grounds. I think that was his print. It actually says on the Blu-ray release. And it's like his fucking print. So they had to rent it off him. They literally used his print and they came to him because he actually physically owns that actual print, right? It's not just the movie rights in general. Like you can't be like the owner, you can't be the director of the film and be like, oh, fucking, you can't use that one because, blah, 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 whatever. But it was that specific print. So they came to that. So it comes down to basically finding the better elements, really. But Vinegar Syndrome using a blown up 35 millimeter from a tape transfer just sounds terrible to me.
Well, it's the Gosser, so
But I mean, anybody knows, if you know anything about transfers, if you have a 16 millimeter print, which Cannibal Musical was shot on, we know that having that an original print would be ideal.
Yeah, but I don't think it I think where it comes to like weird is I don't think it is it's not like the movie, like it's like not edited, right? Because it was edited onto tape. So
there's got to be original. There's got to be original negative. Maybe there isn't anymore. Maybe there is no negative for the film.
No, I'm looking it up. So this Refuse, the only thing they're releasing is the original Betacam master tape. So basically, the 16 millimeter footage was lost somewhere in Colorado in the late 90s.
So apparently, the original negative does not exist. So only the tape masters that it was transferred to, because for the VHS original releases, that's what exists.
So where the fuck did it come from that they were
which
using
is very common
millimeter?
I think that's what the people at Refuse said, like in a Facebook comment.
I'm reading a Refuse post.
And they're saying that they're using a master tape. Okay, well then what the fuck is the problem here? So there's obviously beef between the two companies. Maybe there's just, like I said, there's rights issues. Maybe Vinegar Syndrome, if this is the scenario, thinks that they don't have the rights to even distribute it over there. Who knows? I don't know.
All right, so this is what I'm reading. So Refuse is using the beta tape master, whatever that is. And Vinegar Syndrome is also using a tape master, but then also this 35 millimeter blow up master, just for like something else if you want to watch that just for shits and giggles.
I bet you they put two versions on. Here's the tape master restoration. Here's the blown up 35 millimeter restoration, grind, whatever.
That's what AGFA did with Boarding House. They did the tape master and the 35 millimeter blow up.
Yep, exactly. Right, and I mean that's all affiliated too, right? So that makes sense.
I'm not sure where like the actual like beef comes through, or if it's just like internet people like making shit up. But I did see
someone's gonna be like, all this shit's just made up anyways.
When Vinegar Syndrome announces this shit next Friday, people are just gonna shut the fuck up about it.
Yeah, well, I did see that the guy, one of the guys from the movie, said the Vinegar Syndrome release is the only one I was involved with. I personally feel that Refuse Films needs to stay in their own lane. Vinegar Syndrome has the US distribution rights, but hey, get both versions if you want to.
Who said that?
Deanne Bakar.
Deanne Bakar.
So it's a region thing then, because I'm assuming that this
Squeak said it.
Squeak said that.
I'm assuming
I'm behind Squeak.
Yeah,
little bitch. I love Little Bitch.
I quote that movie all the time. I always
Fuck,
say,
man, we used to play
like,
basketball. We actually used to play basketball. It was fucking
we
fun
played
as hell,
during
dude.
recess.
It's fucking awesome, man. Good shit.
But so yeah, I mean, he's saying buy the Vinegar Syndrome one.
Yeah. Fucking
I'm gonna
internet.
listen to squeak.
It's always causing issues, man. No, I bet it's just because this company is probably, they got an AB on it, region, so it can be released either way. Vinegar Syndrome's like, fuck that, this is our release.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah,
it's something to do with that, man.
I honestly don't give a fuck about Refuse films anyway. So
I don't even know who the fuck
stepping on each other's toes. That's literally all it is.
It's just something to talk about, I guess. It is what it is. But I mean, at the end of the day, guess what we're getting?
So that 16 millimeter.
We're getting the VS edition.
And we probably will be reviewing that one.
And I fucking love Cannibal the Musical, by the way.
I'm reviewing it. Like,
I love Cannibal the Musical. It's so fucking funny, dude.
I think that's a slam dunk main review.
Oh man, it's literally
slam dunk main review.
The beauty of Cannibal the Musical is it's just a prelude to South Park. That's all
it really is.
It's literally a prelude, man.
I love when you hear like South Park voices before they were South Park voices.
Yeah,
in it.
Exactly. I think he even does Cartman's voice, like Cartman's original voice in Cannibal the Musical, like the first Cartman voice. He does it.
Yeah,
Trey Parker is so awesome.
And then like they say stuff like that Cartman has said in South Park. There's a part in the movie where he's just like, I would never kill somebody, not unless they piss me off.
We did that on 22 Shots, but I missed that episode.
Oh man, that's a good. Yeah, what was it like of Shauna video or something?
Musicals,
bro. We were literally just talking about how that was shot on 16, like for half an hour.
As I said, I was like, no, it was edited on tape. I'm retarded. I was like, as I said that, I was like, how stupid do I sound right now?
Yeah,
Carly's head is probably exploding.
That's good shit, man. It's good shit. Anyways, probably a good way to segue into the reviews. You guys want to get into the reviews or what?
Sure.
Yeah, let's roll it off.
Little announcement for me. This is definitely my worst week ever in terms of prep. I wasn't even going to do the show. I had a death in the family, which I don't want to really talk about because I'll start crying or something. But it was someone that was really close to me, so it was a bit of a shitty week for me. And basically all I got to was my film and the featured film, but my film I didn't watch any special features or anything, which is probably good.
It's completely understandable.
Yeah.
Although,
and also after watching the movie, it's understandable.
Yeah,
that's as well.
It's probably good.
I'm wondering if the special features would have brought it up half a point.
I kind of feel like
there's two commentaries on that motherfucker, man.
Oh god, absolutely not.
Crazy.
Is there at least like a director's interview? I feel like I kind of wouldn't like. That seems like the best you get out of it. It seems like people in this movie will be willing to talk about it.
Yeah, there's a new interview with the director.
Yeah.
All right, so yeah, let's get into these reviews here. So I did a quick little randomizer before the show started. I did not inform you guys on the order, but I'm first. Tyler's second. Tony is third, and GP actually was last. So
that's the first time I've ever had that happen.
Yeah, that's the way it broke down. So all right.
So basically, you're telling me I have like an hour and a half of just nothing. Just chill out.
I mean, it depends on. I don't know. I didn't watch Tyler's film because I don't think anyone ever watches his films because no one ever picks them up. But
no, in fact,
Tyler,
I don't
remember about your
picked.
suspension. You're
You're
on suspension. Don't forget.
The only movies I never watch for this show are Tyler's because what the fuck? Like,
well,
I don't watch them. I don't even remember them.
Well, this is the thing about it's understood because I'm not a sub, so understandably, you're gonna want to watch movies that you're already getting. I would want to do
Right.
the same thing. And like I'm just picking my favorite movie that gets released from anywhere like every month, and it's just like there's just as many partner labels most of the time like as there are, so it's just how it shakes out. But like I wouldn't expect you to just go buy a partner label because
I
it's
mean,
something that
I'd buy, like, if Tony does a partner label, I usually buy it because Tony picks good stuff.
Mhm.
Same thing with Moodz, but like
I've
Tyler,
honestly
he's
there
picking like
hasn't
some
been
fucking shit that I'm like,
there hasn't been anything that I've picked that I've been like, yeah, this is not it. I guess the worst thing I think I would say I probably picked was the cinematograph, and I think I just was like wanted a win for that
what,
label
Thieves
so
Like
bad.
Us?
No, I like that movie. I thought
I
that
did
movie was
too.
great. The other one, the Abel Ferrara one,
Yeah.
Dangerous
Hmm.
Game.
Trying to
I
think
think
of my least favorite one that I picked. Might be Blood Cult,
Mine's a
but I like that movie.
mine's a 100% Go Fish.
Yeah, I don't know what mine is actually, but I've had some pretty good ones. Been lucky. But I think it's more about the feature reviews right now. We gotta stop doing Cinematograph ones.
This was in Cinematograph.
That was just regular, right?
Oh, I mean, no,
VS
VSL.
Labs.
This is VSL.
No, this is actually you know what? You know what's actually really funny about this episode is that not one of us is reviewing an actual Vinegar Syndrome title. So we have Bloodline is Labs, and then all the other ones are Cinematograph, and then
I like the
think-
Labs line.
Well,
I think
I like the
Tyler's
Labs
is
line too.
Canny, I think.
Candy,
But
yeah.
I think that this year we have done like a fair range of different stuff. So that is one good aspect. However, for October we should have done a horror fucking movie. I
Yeah.
will stand by that.
Yeah.
Did we? Oh,
Yeah, Tyler's banned from picking the fucking main review.
how is this my fault?
It's totally your fault.
It would not be my fault. I didn't
You're like,
bully you
let's see
into anything.
Bloodline. Come on,
Remember, I did pick the main
Bloodline.
review, but you guys were like, "No, man, we can't do Crucible of Terror. That's too fucking."
I would have done
hard.
the whole set if somebody suggested that.
We don't want to
I
go
was
to the
cool
UK.
with it.
Nobody suggested it. That was the thing. Nobody suggested it.
I
just
did.
stepped
I
back.
suggested it.
It's kind of ironic a little bit because we're talking about dismissing doing the whole box set this month, but then we're doing an entire box set next month as the main review.
Yeah,
but it's
like,
Italian horror month,
what
baby.
I know,
I
but
would've-
I think
would've
we-
rather
I think we
done
learned our
that.
lesson.
yeah, we definitely learned our lesson. Okay.
I'm just saying, like, because what was it for whatever reason? No, like the idea of just doing the whole box set never came up.
I
we were
said it
looking-
once and nobody said anything.
So why is that my fault? I just suggested another movie, and like nobody else wanted to go. Nobody else wanted to watch Goya.
Because
What was the other one?
you suggested a movie that is boring as fuck. That is a penalty. You are spending time in the penalty box.
Nah.
Yes.
I think Tyler's gonna be the highest on Bloodlines with a 5 out of 10. Like I feel like that's gonna be.
It's
It's
probably about right. You're probably about right. I'm gonna like. I don't think it's a good movie, but like I'm gonna make like some sort of case like
You definitely
like,
got
why-
a misconduct penalty, a tripping for fucking slowing us
A
down.
misconduct. That's
Well,
fucking funny.
we'll just wait till we get to that one.
Okay. All right. So let's get into this round tree right now. All right. So my pick was from 2000, and it's a film called Flesh Freaks.
Which was originally my pick.
It was your pick. You're right. It was directed by the Canadian Canal Pendergast. I don't know what kind of name that is. Really, that's really bizarre.
That
to me.
sounds fake.
It's actually his real name.
Is that his real name? 'Cause
It is
I
his real
think
name.
I think it's
To me, that sounds
I think
like
it's
a-
Connell.
Is it
'Cause
Connell? Canal?
Isn't that
Connell?
what I think
Connell?
that's the dude in Halloween
If
3,
you would
his name
name
is
your
Connell
kid
Cochran.
Canal.
Damn, the red one's got 4 guys in the box right now. That's crazy.
Yeah, you're gonna be one
Connell.
of
Yeah,
them.
it probably is Connell. Actually, it should be because I've watched some of the features. It is Connell. Connell. Yeah, I guess that sounds like a real name, but
Scum
anyways.
Connie.
I don't think if you name your kid Canal, you got some issues, bro.
Canal. I can't fucking-
Pendergrass.
It's just the way that's the way it reads. Canal. I don't know. It's weird. So yeah. So this movie is released by Saturn's Core. If you know anything about Saturn's Core, they generally release movies that are shot on video pretty much that's what they do. Did
Have they
anybody
released movies that aren't shot on video?
I'm trying to think if they have anything in the catalog that wasn't video. It's getting pretty big. Like
Mom
they've
and
got,
Pop, they did the documentary, right?
yeah.
That's not video.
Digital. Yeah, there you
It
go.
was digital. So I mean, this is title number 39. I'm thinking pretty much all video. So, yeah. So Saturn's Core, you pretty much know what you're getting yourself into. If you're not a shot on video fan, I'd probably stay far away. But yeah, Flesh Freaks is a Canadian film. You know, this film actually has a pretty interesting history behind it. Actually, like the way it was made and stuff like that. Tony, you watch this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen this one before?
No.
Okay,
I've never actually heard of it.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting because I didn't think I'd ever heard of this one, but then I realized that the original DVD of this came out on Sub Rosa. And I remember that they showed the cover in the features. I'm like, oh fuck, I never grabbed that. But it came out years and years ago on Sub Rosa DVD. So anyways, I didn't realize it even had a release before until I saw it. I was like, oh fuck, I remember that, but never put two and two together.
They released so much random shit back in the day.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It was fucking crazy. I'm like
it was almost just like random if you're able to like see any of these movies.
Well, the thing is, there's actually a story as to why it got released in Sub Rosa. I'll get into that in the features, but anyways, Flesh Freaks is basically a zombie film. So the movie starts out with actually our main character, who is played by the director, Connell Pendergrass, and he is basically being picked up at the airport in Toronto by his buddy Barry, and he starts telling him the story about how when he was in Belize, like shit went crazy. So he was in Belize with basically school, and he was on an archaeologist dig. He was there to dig and, you know, do some fucking archaeology work and stuff like that. Anyways, they uncovered basically an undead body that resurrected and killed the entire fucking archaeologist crew. He managed to get away. So he's telling the story while he's at the Toronto, or when he gets picked up after the, you know, Toronto airport, he's, you know, back at school or whatever. He's telling his buddy the story. He's all shook up and shit like that. And then it kind of gets into somehow he brought back the infection or whatever. It, you know, it infects some people, and a zombie breakout happens basically at the school kind of thing. So, you know, my thoughts on the movie, it's actually really interesting because the director of the movie took the opportunity to shoot a lot of stuff in Belize because that's what he was doing. You know, he always loved making films, and, you know, he, from a young age of 9, he was shooting horror films and stuff like that. But he was when he was in Belize with his parents, who were actually archaeologists doing this actual dig. That's a real fucking story. So a lot of the footage that you see in the film is him actually documenting them doing the dig in these Mayan pyramids and stuff like that. So it's pretty cool.
Like a prime example of like utilizing what you have.
Yeah, but it's kind of cool because what really separates this from your average shot on video film is the location. Like, how many people can say that they have a shot on video film that has, you know,
scenes in Belize?
Yeah, scenes in fucking Belize and in Canada. Like, it's got locations. It's got different locations, because a lot of shot on video films, let's face it, man, are one location. Like, it's shot in the woods, it's shot in the house.
The woods in the barn.
Exactly. So this one, so while he was there, he said he was like, man, I got this really good idea. You know, what happens if we resurrected something while we were digging for whatever we're digging for? We're doing archaeologist dig. And so we kind of utilized that idea, and he used some of the people that were digging, but he shot like a lot of stuff, and which kind of plays into it. Like, I felt like it just felt like he shot stock footage, but it was his own footage. You know what I mean? It's actually really interesting. So anyways, the story is like, this thing fucking breaks out. He gets out of there. He was the only survivor. Comes back to Canada, and this whole thing kind of breaks out. There is like some serious plot holes, because like when he gets back to Canada, there is like somebody that's already infected, like in the, I guess, the autopsy room. Like some type of doctor comes across this like body that's already been infected and stuff. I'm like, how the fuck did that even happen, man? He just got back there. Like, it had to get back there somewhere. But anyways, it's shot a video. Who cares? We don't need that much of the story. But all in all, man, this movie is actually pretty fucking fun. You know, for a film that was made by a kid that was 17, 18 years old, you know, going back and forth from Belize to Canada and stuff like that. So he, like I said, he was in Belize. He shot a bunch of stuff there. He came back to Canada, and it took him like I think about a year to shoot the rest of the film, kind of get a crew together, shoot it at school and stuff. But he was like 18 years old when he did this. So the one thing I took away from this film was when the zombies break out and we start getting attacks and stuff like that, I kept thinking to myself going, man, this guy was a massive fan of Zombie and Burial Grounds and even Hell of the Living Dead, because like it feels like there's so much stock footage in it and stuff like that. But it's funny because he shot his own stock footage. Like it's really funny because all that shit you see in the film, which I give him praise because he didn't loop it, but he shot all these animals and all this shit like in Belize. That was all him. He just decided to use it in the film, and it was kind of cool. So I find out in the special features that he'd never even seen Zombie or Burial Grounds before he made this movie. I was like, what the fuck? I'm
That's
like,
so fucked up.
The zombies,
because, like, they look like Italian zombies too.
Dude, I have to say the zombie designs in this film are actually really decent, man. They're fucking pretty good. But like just the fact that like the movie starts out in a tropical area, like where Zombie takes place in a tropical area, and Burial Ground with those rotting kind of masked fucking zombies and stuff. That's what you're getting here, man. That's exactly what you're getting. I was 100% hellbent on the fact that this guy was a huge fan. He's like just mimicking this, you know, and he's like, no, I'd never seen those movies. It's like I'd seen Night of the Living Dead and Dawn of the Dead and stuff. But he's like, I didn't want to do Dawn of the Dead where I just put makeup on my friend's face. I wanted to make him look like monsters. And I was like, okay. And I'm like, well, you made him look like Burial Ground zombies, which in my opinion is pretty fucking cool because those are some of my favorite looking zombies of all time. I'll give him the credit for that. It's funny. This movie runs about 80 minutes and never feels that long, though. It really doesn't. Like, honestly, it's actually quite fun. There's a really weird twist in the film where, like, you know, the director is one of the main characters, but then he's not the hero in the film. It's like so bizarre what happens. You don't really see that coming. But I will say, though, like, the main girl that becomes like the main protagonist in the film, there's some really goofy shit that's happening with her. So she decides to find like this air gun, nail gun. Did you notice this, Tony? When she's shooting zombies with her nail gun, which is actually like one of those air nail guns, the way she's shooting them?
No, how's she shooting them?
So she's shooting it basically upside down. So the way it's filmed, the nails are coming out of the part where you connect the air hose to.
Oh yeah, so it's just from the bottom.
Yeah.
Right?
So she should have been holding it like a gun and shooting out the front, but she was holding it like this, and it was like she was shooting the nails out of the connection that holds the air hose the whole movie. I'm like, how did nobody ever realize that she was holding the nozzle wrong? Like,
how did I miss that?
Dude, what were you watching?
The mom probably was like, you're not allowed to point this at anybody.
Because a nail gun, it's just like a gun, right? And then you have the attachment for the hose in the bottom, but she's holding it like this, so that part is acting like the gun. And I'm like, and she's pulling the trigger down, like you're not pulling it back. I'm like, that is the goofiest shit I've ever seen, man. Like that's some weird ass just mistakes in the film. It's crazy.
It's either she was scared of holding it the right way.
It's either they had no fucking clue how a nail gun worked, or somebody was like didn't want to point a nail gun at anybody.
Well, I'm thinking that they probably didn't know how to use it properly because I mean,
you also can't shoot it without that air.
Exactly. And that's the other fuck up in it too. It's kind of cool because like the narrative, I mean, obviously has a little bit of holes. You don't really understand exactly like how, you know, the infected comes to where, you know, it spreads out in Canada. But it is cool. It's not like your general like type of zombie movie where the, you know, the dead rise and stuff. It's more complex in the terms of like it's almost alien. It's like a parasite that possibly could have came from, you know, like a meteor, right? It's something to do with that and shit. I think it's actually kind of cool.
No, the Living Dead.
Yeah. So, but it's interesting because when you get infected, like you turn into like the burial ground looking zombies, trying to give people a visual. Pretty cool, but not like right away. So you kind of get infected, and I mean, there's different ideas in here. I mean, there's ideas that we've seen before and stuff like that, but it still works. As for like the actual, like effects and stuff in the film, like I said, the zombies look really cool. In fact, it's probably the coolest thing about the movie. The music is what it is. It's shot the way it is. I mean, they had to do some really interesting things because there's a zombie breakout towards the end of the movie where, he even says in the special features that they didn't have enough people. So one guy that overheard them talking about needing extras, needing people to do these zombies and stuff like that. So he went and talked to like these girls that were at the school. And he's like, hey, you guys want to be in a movie? We got all these costumes, blah, blah, blah. But he said they all came down there all wearing like capris and they look like girls, right? So that's the way that whole scene is shot, like that whole zombie breakout at the end. It's all shot like headshots, right? Because they couldn't show the arms or the legs and stuff. And I was like, oh, that's pretty interesting how they did that and stuff. But there's some decent gore. There's some decent effects. The blood looks good in the film. It's not too bad. It's entertaining for what it is. Like I said, it didn't feel like it was running 80 minutes. I like shot on video films though. So when I'm watching these, I'm not like taking it overly too serious, but at the same time, you can tell there's a lot of heart put into this. It wasn't a project where he's like, I want to make a movie for the sake of making a movie. He was putting fucking time and energy into it. He literally took the whole year off college that he got, he got accepted into this college just to finish this film because he wanted to do this shit. And like, I really respect that, man, in the game. Pretty cool stuff, man. Really, really cool stuff. So he did the film and he always wanted to do more films and stuff, but there actually is another film that he did and stuff, but, pretty fun though. Pretty fun. Not really a whole lot more to say about Flesh Zombies, but it's decent for what it is. So the features on the disc for Flesh Freaks,
there's a lot of them.
Yeah, there's a lot here. The thing I hate about Saturn's Core, man, is they're so hard to read off the back. Like the font that they use, whatever, it's just it's so hard to read, man. So there is a couple audio commentaries. There's some outtakes. There's an interview with the director. But I don't know who the fuck does it, but this guy's like insane. Like he's got so much fucking energy when he's talking to him. It's just ridiculous. But he talks about how he literally spent half his time growing up between Belize and Canada. So, he was always in Belize. He was in Canada like half his time and stuff like that. So he wasn't just there on one dig. He was actually there like half his life. So he kind of had the ideas building up to do some tropical horror and stuff. He was very inspired by those kind of things like Son of Godzilla and like other Mexican films, Yog the Monster and shit that was shot on islands and stuff. He really liked those type of films. He actually even said that like he was very much inspired by like the older Mexican films where they would take like they would shoot some footage and then incorporate it into like a film that was already made and like make their own movie and stuff. He said that was actually one of the things that he really aspired to do. He thought that was a really funny idea in films. But like the whole thing about the Hell of the Living Dead was actually really interesting because people kept saying that, comparing Flesh Freaks to Hell of the Living Dead. And he's like, that's crazy because like, Bruno Mattei just took real, like actual stock footage. Like I actually shot my footage and stuff. Thought that was a really interesting part of the conversation. I was like, that's pretty interesting. One actually really interesting thing about Flesh Freaks is that it started out, which I didn't even know this. I'd never heard of this, but there's apparently a Japanese franchise. It's kind of like Our La Casa, right? Evil Dead 1 and 2, and then it branches off into all the Italian films that make up like part 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, whatever. So there's a franchise called Zombie of the Dead. And this is part 1 of Zombie of the Dead. And there's like 7 or 8 of those films too that are based out of Japan. They're all unrelated. They're all films from wherever, but it's like this franchise called Zombie of the Dead. And this is number 1. Flesh Freaks is the one that started it all.
Please tell me that like an ultra budget Hollywood movie is like Zombie of the Dead Part 6.
It probably is, man.
And that's the OG Zombie the Dead.
I never looked into actually what the other films were and stuff, but I feel like who knows what's part of there, man. Look it up, man. There's probably some that we even know. That
I think I need to try.
Japanese franchises made it up. Yeah, I mean, it's a film that he said that he shot in pretty much like 10 days, like after, like it took a year but once they got everything going and stuff, they just kind of, roll with the punches and fucking just got their shit done. So, it didn't take a lot. The editing process on this was really interesting too. I thought that was kind of interesting, him talking about the editing process, because like he didn't really know what he was doing. He just he edited scene by scene. He didn't like put a whole assembly thing and then kind of trim up. He like edited scene and stuff. He said it was kind of weird how he did it, but said he'd probably never do that again. But yeah, Flesh Freaks. On a shot on video scale, I would give this one probably a good like 6 out of 10. I think it's pretty damn fun. It's got surprisingly good looking zombies, which really is everything when you want in a zombie film. And the reason why I think this movie is really cool, man, is, obviously having the dual locations. It's shot in the industrial area of like Toronto and stuff, which I actually know that area pretty well. But it really, it has that kind of cool thing going for it. But like when you're making a low budget film, the reason why a lot of low budget filmmakers make slasher films is because they're a lot easier to make. When you're making zombie films, there's a lot more effort put into it. Hence, when you want a zombie mob, you have to have a lot of people. You have to have a lot of actual masks. You use masks in this, or makeup artists. There's a lot more put into making a zombie film. The ambition while making these things blows my mind. 17-year-old kid putting this shit out, man. You have to remember that when you watch this. There's a lot of ambition. It looks really good. Even the editing is not that bad. It's really, really not that bad. I've seen worse acting in films. In fact, we might even talk about some worse acting even tonight, but pretty cool. Did
you see the second movie that was on that disc?
I did.
The bonus feature?
I did. Yeah.
Speaking of movies that are worse in every way, his next movie.
So it's really interesting that you say that, because there's another bonus feature, getting into the more bonus features here. So there's a bonus feature on here called, it's not called, it's a full-length feature film called Kill Them and Eat Them from 2003. So this is made about 3 years later. He'd done a couple shorts in the time being in this period. And this is a really weird film. It's like a really, really strange film that has, I don't even know how to fucking say the like the actual synopsis of this movie. I don't even, it's really strange. I feel like he had this complex idea for it and just kind of rolled with whatever. I don't know. He essentially wanted to make it like a monster film. So it follows basically a corrupt doctor who was working for this company called The Company. Anyways, he was doing experiments for them and stuff like that, and the shit didn't work out there. He branched out on his own, and ultimately what he's doing out is he's kidnapping like homeless people, and he's basically turning them into these, what are they called? They're not troglodytes, but what is the term that they use for it?
I can't remember.
There's like a specific term that they use. It's really weird. They basically inject him with like these weird like it's almost like a disease / hormone type things and stuff. And then they create these skeletoids. Right. And so this doctor is doing these experiments. He's creating these skeletoids. And the weird thing about creating these skeletoids is that there's not really like a full blown point to making them. Like, it's like Dr. Evil. He's kind of like Dr. Evil, but at the same time, he doesn't like have a full agenda as to why he wants a whole army of skeletoids. It's really funny.
He's just evil.
He's just evil, so he's creating this. But the funny thing is he's got like this sidekick scientist too that's even like worse than him. He's like doing some crazy shit on the side and stuff. And that's pretty much what we get, man. We just get a bunch of crazy weird ass monsters in this film. It's like a lot more goofy. Like the first film doesn't really have any like comic relief really. but this one is full of like really stupid puns and like goofy looking creatures, and the soundtrack's wonky. Actually, the soundtrack, I actually kind of like the soundtrack. I felt like it kind of fit for the film, but it's like so weird because you're creating this army of like skeletoids, and at one point in the film, he literally asks one of the skeletoids to go do his grocery shopping for him. I'm like, what the fuck is his agenda? He's going fucking grocery shopping? I'm like, okay, if I'm making monsters and shit, I'm going to go and like ravage somewhere. I'm going to go take over. I'm going to go do some shit, man. No, he sent him off to go get his fucking cornflakes. It's crazy.
Hey, you don't want to do anything, right? So just have monsters do literally every need that you have.
Yeah, pretty much, man.
Probably even have them make his eggs too.
I feel like that's exactly what he was doing with them. And then we got like this kind of like side plot with this one girl that gets infected, and like I have to say, man, her acting, oh my God. That's what I was talking about, the act. I think there's nobody worse in Flesh Freaks than she is in that film. She is so bad. Like every time she says something, I'm just like, oh my God, it's cringeworthy. It's so bad. It's so bad. It's so bad. I didn't really understand the whole point of that subplot in the film though either. Do you even understand what they were trying to get at with her? Like I understand like she was infected by the other evil doctor and stuff, but like what was the actual point of doing it?
I don't remember. Honestly, like I barely remember anything about that. And I watched it like a month ago.
Yeah, I watched this one about a week ago, so it's, it is what it is, but
I just remember being very confused.
Well, the narrative is so complex in terms of like, I think it's not like complex. It's confusing because like he seems like he's evil, but at the same time he's like still fighting against this. I don't know. There's like all these weird elements, but you don't really understand the focus of what he's doing. Like if there's an agenda as to why you're creating these skeletoids, you'd be like, okay, well that's it. That's the end goal. But the way the narrative progresses, it just gets goofier and goofier, and we have like this crazy weird like or like this fucking skeletoid off fight at the end, and it's really weird, mixed with a lot of puns. The gore's not bad. I don't think the monsters like they looked horrible or nothing. They're literally just like dollar store masks that were kind of done up kind of cool. He even said though in the features that like the masks were done like that on purpose. They were supposed to be big oversized heads, and they were supposed to be kind of goofy looking because the dialogue is a little bit goofy and the whole storyline is super goofy and stuff like that. So like why make everything be, one part be serious and have the whole tone off and stuff, which is the way I kind of took it. But one of the weirdest things about the monsters though is like when they talk in this film, they have like these super normal voices. They're just talking like, "Hey buddy, how's it going?" And I'm like, "What?" Like there's no monster voice at all. It's like, "So, me and Cole, we're gonna go get some food." I'm like, "What? Like, why are you talking like that?" It's not scary at all. It's like, so the tone is very strange in the film. It's very odd. It's very odd. So he does say in one of the interviews that is about this film, he's talking about how more people contact him about this movie than they do about Flesh Freaks. More people actually love this movie more than Flesh Freaks.
What's the movie? I was gone during it.
It's called Kill 'Em and Eat Them. This is the second full-length feature as a feature on here. And I got online and I was like rating shit, and people are like, why the fuck wasn't this the main feature and the bonus feature was Flesh Freaks?
Do you agree with them?
No, I actually prefer Flesh Freaks, to be honest, because it's more up my alley. I prefer like the whole zombie thing. And like, I'm a little bit heartbroken that he had never seen Zombie or Burial Grounds, considering the zombies look exactly like that.
Yeah, I find that hard to believe.
I thought the same thing when he was saying that in the interview. I was like, that just seems so crazy to me. But I personally like zombie films more than like monster. I mean, this movie has a lot of things that I like. I like Mad Doctors. I like monsters. I like a little bit of comedy and stuff like that. But like this one is almost it's too jarring at times because you don't know what the fuck it wants to be. It has moments of like gore. There's some decent gore. There's some tonal switches that are so strange in the film where you're like, okay, what? This guy's like super evil, but then you're sending him off to get your cornflakes, and then you have this evil person that's being super serious the whole time, but then you have like these dialogues where you're like, okay, this movie does not know what it wants to fucking be at all. It's so utterly confusing. It's ridiculous. I will say though, I thought it was kind of cool with the transitions in the film. Do you remember the transitions where they would have it went almost animated, which I'll get into in a little bit. He's really into animation stuff. So the transitions, he'd have these animations where it'd be like little creatures and things like that. I thought those were actually kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
It almost felt like a comic book, like, which kind of plays into the whole narrative and the whole tone of the film a little bit too, because once you see the transitions that are kind of goofy, they're kind of animated and stuff, it really does make the whole tone of the film kind of full. You know, it's not like these serious things. So it kind of makes a little bit of sense. I liked what he did with that. And it's something that he went on to do a little bit more with some of his shorts. He did some animation shorts, and actually a lot of the shorts that I'll talk about here that they're a lot different. He did different things with all of them and stuff. So, but yeah, you know, I mean, this one right here, I didn't personally like it as much. I guess I'm in the minority considering what I read. I was like, holy shit, everyone seemed to like this one more than Flesh Freaks, which I thought was really interesting. It does have like a metal soundtrack, but it's not like growly. It's not gross. It's like, I'm not saying I don't like that music. Sometimes I just don't like it in films, but I thought the music actually kind of worked for the film a little bit. It was just over ridiculous. I wasn't feeling it. I mean, if this was made by Astron 6, I probably would even be on the same boat, you know, because I get them. But this one just seemed like such an oddball film that I was like, I don't know. I think just more, I know it sounds funny, but just having a little bit more clear narrative would have actually probably helped out the tone of this film though, too, right? So it's a little bit off-putting, but kill him and eat him. I give this one just like a 5 out of 10, man. You know, it was fun for what it was. But something, if I was to go back to one of the films, it'd definitely be Flesh Freaks. So, but yeah, so anyways, so that's a special feature, which is a full-length film from 2003. And then even to take things a little bit further, you actually have, which I need to find these, there's 7 short films on here. Which he's done more. I think he's done like 10. They didn't have a couple of them on there, which I thought was pretty interesting. But so there's one called Flicker from 2001. It's a silent black and white film. It runs about 5 minutes. It's actually kind of funny too. It's basically about like almost like a haunted like film, and you actually see clips from Flesh Freaks in there, which I thought was kind of interesting. And the monster that actually ends up being in there, it kind of looks like from Kill 'Em and Eat 'Em. So, you know, in that realm, right, from 2001. So this was done after Flesh Freaks, but before that one. So it's cool for what it is. Like I said, it runs 5 minutes. The next one from 2006 is called Satan's Psycho Gods. It only runs about 2.5 minutes. It's silent. It's got background music and stuff. It's basically just about like the life and the day in the life of like a monster. And kind of looks like the same type of monsters you see him in the other films. So it's kind of cool. He's wearing a Spam shirt and stuff. I thought it was okay for what it was. Guts of the Gods from 2006. This one runs 9 minutes. It's done like a grindhouse kind of film, like totally different. It almost feels like a slasher film done grindhouse, but it's dealing with like human sacrifices, like, you know, Guts of the Gods and stuff like that. It's got some pretty decent gore, actually really gory and bloody, totally different from his other shorts. I thought this one was really good, actually. Legend of the Seven Bloody Tortures from 2007. It runs about 5 minutes. It's shot black and white. And this one's, you know, straight up acting. It's not a silent film or nothing. It's basically about a guy that goes to basically this corporation to go and check on the torturers, and he realizes that there's only 6 torturers instead of the 7. And is like, it's this great line. He's like, "Don't you guys know anything about the legend of the 7 bloody tortures?" I fucking busted out laughing when he said that, because there's only 6 people torturing people. Fuck, I laughed so hard out loud. It was actually really fucking funny. I was like, okay. And then there's one called The Cyclops Diet from 2020. This was an animated, you know, color, full feature kind of thing. It only runs about 3 minutes. I thought it was pretty cool, man. It's very, very short. Like I said, 3 minutes. It's basically about a dude talking to Cyclops, and he steps on some people and eats some shit. It's actually pretty fun. You know, 3 minutes. 2021, There's one called Actualization of the Werewolf Woman. Again, this one was animated. It was in black and white. I thought the animation it's cool. It's like hand drawn type animation, very very low budget. The music was actually really cool in the film. This one I thought was pretty interesting. It runs 4 minutes. What they do with the story, it's kind of cool. I don't want to give anything away. You guys want to check it out because it's 4 minutes long. And then the last one on here was called The Noonday Demon from 2024. So very, very recent. This is pretty much like the longest one. It's 8 minutes. It's animated. The animation in this one is done very modern. It's pretty good. Super fucking dark, man. Super, super dark. It's basically about this dude that he goes to see like a childhood kind of girlfriend or whatever, and then it goes crazy. Pretty good stuff though, man. I thought that one was like super dark and pretty awesome, man. Pretty cool stuff. But so yeah, I mean, overall, Flesh Freaks release, this thing is fucking jam packed, man. If y'all are sleeping on some Saturn core shit, man, I don't know what it is about Saturn's core and their features, but they really go way out of their fucking realm and put together some really interesting packages. If you guys are into films like this, you can't sleep on these releases. It has everything. I mean, it's pretty much this whole filmography on one release. It's got his 2 full-length films. It's got 7 of, I believe, his 10 shorts that he's done. I don't know why.
How annoying is that?
I know. And the funny thing,
you literally have his entire filmography on one disc, but like 3 2-minute shorts.
Well, the only thing I could think about is maybe there was some copyrighted music or something in them.
There could be.
Good point.
The thing that actually 2 of the shorts that actually aren't included on here are the 2 longest ones. One's 10 and I think one's 11 minute too. So that could be music or something like that. But overall, this is a fantastic release. I couldn't recommend it enough. Honestly, this is one of my favorite releases of the year. The movies aren't, I mean, just as a release as a whole, this was really fun to fucking watch. Like, I watched the movies and then did all, and he just seems like a really fucking cool guy too, man. The interview on here is really cool. I'm still calling bullshit on the zombie and burial ground shit though. I'm totally am, because that just makes no sense to me.
How can you be a fan of zombies? And like, look what he's turned into after Flesh Freaks. How can you be like what he became and not seeing that shit before you make your...
The only defense I have for his comments about not seeing those films is that, okay, so this would have been done, he would have started production on this shooting this movie probably in 98 kind of thing. You got to remember, this is in Canada. He is in Toronto. He probably had a little bit more access to video stores, and he even talks about his video stores in here and stuff like that too. But so maybe he just didn't have access to them. But again, I call bullshit on, because I live in a small city. When I was
to be fair, bro, I didn't have access to like any of that.
It just depends what mom and pop shops you were going to in the early 90s and shit like that, because I had 1 or 2 really good ones where they would bring in a lot of foreign stuff. Like I got a lot of fucking Italian films. That's why I saw some of those when I was younger. But then you go to other mom and pop stores where they didn't carry the same shit. So I think it's just based on locations, based on who owns these things. Obviously, when the Blockbusters and the Rogers and all that type of shit opened up and stuff and blew all that shit out the frame, they didn't carry any of that stuff. It was all mainstream. It was all family oriented. It was all mainstream. So you weren't getting any of that shit. So if that's what you grew up watching, renting from stuff, yeah, it is what it is. But you got to remember 98. So he said he was what, 16? So he's around my age. Really, because he was born in the early 80s, like probably 80, 81 kind of thing. So he could have or might not have had access to these films. I don't know. It's the only thing I can think of, to put in perspective that he's not bullshitting, but I don't know, man. But did you watch any of the features, anything on here, Tony?
No, all I watched was the bonus feature film. I didn't watch any of the shorts. But I'm definitely going to go back and watch those.
Yeah. Whenever I was previewing that title, I think it was on the last show, because when we were like, our picks got all fucked up. I saw all those special features and I was like, God damn, that's a lot of stuff. You know what I mean? But it sounds like it was actually like features that were worth watching, which is nice. That's always nice.
It was usually the case with Saturn's core. Like, even if the movie doesn't turn out being that great, like you don't feel ripped off by what you paid for.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. Yeah, and like I said, it's not, this label isn't for everybody, but at the same time, I mean, it's probably a label that could turn you on to these type of movies too. I mean, there's just so much to learn. It's crazy. It's really incredible that we're getting releases like this that have this amount of features for these type of films. Like it cost him, $20 to make Flash Freaks. The trips to Belize and stuff were family oriented. He was there with his family. He was forced to be there. He just came up with an idea, but good on him for filming there and doing shit. So it's pretty cool. I saw a review and it said, Canadians need to stick to making werewolf films, obviously referring to Ginger Snaps. I'm like, Canada has made more movies than just Ginger Snaps movies.
I know they were a major part of the slasher boom.
Exactly.
Isn't Wolf Cop Canadian too?
Yeah. And well, that's what made me laugh too. And I was like, well, maybe they're referring to Wolf Cop 1 and 2. But then again, you're forgetting about a classic director named David Cronenberg, who
right.
is a godfather of fucking body horror. So
yeah, Canada has some great titles throughout history. I mean, realistically, I think with Exploding Heads like slasher show they did, I think like a few of them had I think 3 of them had My Bloody Valentine as their number 1 non-franchise slasher. Spoiler alert.
I was with Mason and Dan on his channel, and 2 of us had that too.
Yeah, like
it kind of seems like the obvious pick, to be honest.
I've had that up there. I mean, there's days where I consider Maniac to be a slasher. Some days I don't. It's just the way my brain works. But I mean, in terms of like straight up like conventional slasher, My Bloody Valentine, I've made videos on it before where it's been my number 1 non-franchise.
I would not be opposed to if somebody told me that My Bloody Valentine is the greatest non-franchise slasher. I wouldn't argue.
I think it depends for me, like where we're drawing the line at slasher.
Oh God.
Oh, here comes pretentious fucking Saucedo out here. Jesus.
Here comes the peeping Tom talk right here.
If you really think
speaking of that, we got a comment about that the other day. Actually, I think we just got it this morning.
Yeah, I said it because I said on the show we were talking about. I was like, I don't think Peeping Tom's a slasher, and I actually rewatched Peeping Tom. I'm like, Peeping Tom is definitely a fucking slasher. What am I talking?
Somebody was commenting. It was on the Maniac Cop show. It must have been because I think someone commented on there.
I'm the one who said it because I said it on that show.
No. I'm saying we got a comment from a listener saying that they rewatched Peeping Tom and they were saying that it's most definitely a slasher and the body count was a lot higher than they remember. So.
Yeah, that was me that made that comment.
Tyler's saying he commented on
he made that comment.
You actually wrote that comment.
I wrote that comment because on the show I said it wasn't a slasher, and I just happened to rewatch it, and I thought this is definitely a slasher.
I don't ever. What the? I never look at the YouTube names when I respond.
You're a fucking idiot.
Yeah. Yeah.
What is your YouTube name?
It definitely is a slasher movie.
Yeah, like I didn't realize. Name? It's just like
I think it's just like Tyler Taddeo or something.
It's just Tyler like in random numbers that it just didn't like random.
Is it really? I don't even think I even noticed the name. That's fucking hilarious. I mean, I'm just so used to being like, "Hey man, nice shirt."
Yeah.
Fuck. That's really. I can't. It's funny. I can't even find it. Anyways, yeah.
I was thinking more of the lines of Black Christmas, like, but. Yeah, Peeping Tom would also, I think, be in that discussion.
What did I give Flesh Freaks? I should give it like a 7.
6 out of 10.
It's pretty fun. But regardless, fun.
Yeah, that's actually, what's funny is like
I really enjoyed those.
Both of you guys' title, Tony and Moodz. Those are both titles that I was like looking forward to watching. I was like bummed that like my life got all shitty. But I'll get to them eventually. I mean, we're doing a top 10 of the year thing at the end of the year, or at the beginning of next year. So I'll probably try to watch like most, like as much as the shit of that as I picked up as
I like it. That's gonna like force me to play clean up and like watch everything I bought.
Yeah, there's definitely some titles that I passed over and stuff that we haven't talked about. I think
this is
Eye for an Eye is one I think we never watched.
This is like a crazy year for like like the amount of prep work that I've had. Like this is one of the highest years ever.
Mm-hmm.
But also I don't think I'm gonna break my record. I actually might break my record for movie watches. I
broke
think
my
I'm getting
record already.
Yeah, you're going like fucking ape shit, dude. I
I'll
can tell you
never
one
have
thing.
a
I've
year.
already watched like 100 and something more, like 140 films more than I did last year. But the previous years, I was like 700 every year. But
Yeah, you had a down year last year.
I was so, it was
Year.
just, it was one of those years where I didn't have a moment. And for me,
Yeah.
that's crazy. Like,
I don't think I'll ever watch as many movies as I watched this year again.
but I'm like almost at 450 this year, which is crazy because, like I said, I only watched like 300 all of last year.
Last year I watched 730, and I already watched more than that this year.
Yeah,
That is
you're gonna
insane,
hit
bro.
1,000 because when you hit
No,
that prep,
I'm not gonna hit 1,000.
didn't Brandon do it? Didn't Brandon hit 1,000 one year?
I'm
Yeah, he did
flirt-
1,000. He did
I-
1,000 one day.
The most I had, I think, was
flirting with
800 and
Yeah, I'm
40 or
flirting with
something.
900. That would be the closest. That
Crazy.
like maybe 900, but I definitely won't hit 1,000. Dan hits like 1,100 every year.
What's the record?
God.
Is there a record? Has somebody ever like
It's like it's kind of harsh to the pen because like I know somebody that likes
Didn't
to,
Brandon actually look up that and someone watched?
Yeah, I
like,
think I feel like he
yeah, it was like
There's
it's not even out of the realm. I think it was like 11 or 1,200 or something like that. It's crazy.
No, this is the thing that you can't get an accurate count because there's people that'll just watch it to like a 2-minute short film to like
Yeah,
improve
yeah.
their count.
But I think he was talking about feature films, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
So what do? You have to like film yourself watching it? Like, how do you even like prove something like
No,
that?
you can't prove it, man.
You can't
I mean,
prove it.
anybody could just log their shit in Letterboxd and be like, I watch this, I watch this, I watch this.
Right,
but, yeah,
exactly.
doesn't prove shit.
So the official
We don't lie. I only log movies that I watch entire. If I watch a movie half and turn it off or whatever, I don't even log it.
Yeah, I
No,
don't.
how can you
lie.
watch
No,
Oh,
I
gosh.
only do
Those
full
people
films.
have no integrity whatsoever.
people
No.
do that.
Yes, people do that. People
I don't.
like log and rate shit that they've turned off after 10 minutes.
In fact, I watched Phantasm.
That's
I watched about
weird.
half of it about a month ago, and I didn't log it because I didn't watch the full thing. I fell asleep.
This is actually kind of interesting, but the official record by Guinness, and I guess this is the way that you would track it because it is theatrical movies. So
Oh, that's
777 is the record, which I feel like is doable.
That's way
theatrical movies? That's
Yeah.
crazy.
How do you have to watch like some of the same movies over and over, right?
You're
You're
have to. There's not
going
700.
twice a day.
That's what I mean. Like, yeah,
But twice a day doesn't seem impossible.
no, it doesn't at all. You just gotta have the money to go to the theater twice a day and the time to do that.
Yeah.
Not anymore, not unless you just have like a
Honestly, you could
like a
work
pass.
You could work a 9 to 5 job and do that. You
Yeah.
can get you get out 5 and go see 2 movies. Like I don't.
This
think
is
that's-
kinda
Yeah, I
interesting.
mean,
So,
honestly, Dan
this
probably
was,
sees over 700 movies in the theater a year.
Dan sees a crazy amount of the theaters.
And you know what a big thing would be? Like if you catch one of those like 24-hour marathons or something.
yeah.
Or,
You know what
yeah.
I mean? That would pad your numbers a little bit. But apparently this dude is from PA, Pennsylvania,
Ooh.
which is pretty cool. And his first movie of the year was the Minions Rise of Gru. His favorite movie was Spider-Man Across this is back in 2017. Or,
Oh, so
sorry,
that was
2022. Sorry,
No,
sorry.
yeah, 2020.
that was the
yeah.
year he broke that record.
Yeah.
What was his least? Yeah,
his least favorite was The Devil Conspiracy. He watched Puss in Boots 47 times.
Oh my god, that's insane, dude. That movie's good, but like 47 times of any movie like that in a year. Come on, man. It's a kind of weird. It's Puss in Boots though.
Man, this is I feel like if it wasn't like fucking if I had like a work from home job or something, I would attempt this shit just to get the record.
Yeah.
But I'm not watching Puss in Boots 47 times, I'll tell you that.
No,
right
that's
now.
crazy. Like I watched like that year that Talking came out, it just like did not leave theaters. Like it just like kept like, let's put it back in. And I literally watched it like at the theaters like 6 months in a row, and I thought that was psychotic.
I rarely ever rewatch movies in a theater like during the first run.
I can't even think the last time I've done that.
Dude, like it was like I don't know why it was just like a meme for me. They just kept re-releasing it. Like we're putting Top Gun back in for a week, and I was like, hell yeah!
I think Midsommar was the last time I did that because they released that like extended cut a few months later.
Oh, I wish I would have got to see in the theater. The extended cut in that is like so crazy that like it's what, a half hour longer and it feels shorter.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, it's like. And it's like crucial, like in my opinion. It's like it makes the other cut completely like obsolete.
Yeah, I agree with that. There's like some scenes in it too that are like straight out of like Nordic horror movies or like Nordic dramas. And I'm like, what the fuck, man? Like he knew what he was doing here.
Moodz is probably about to like kill himself right now. All this Midsummer talk.
Oh yeah, you don't like Midsummer.
Moodz, did you hear what the record was while you were gone or no? You're muted.
You're all muted.
Shit. I hadn't. Oh, God damn, it didn't work. Okay. No, what was it again?
So the guy who broke the record, and this is theatrical movies, which makes sense as how you would track it, right? Because you have paper trail. But he's from Pennsylvania, which I thought was really cool. But 777 movies is the record.
And then it's just straight theatrical.
Well, yeah. This one, I'm not sure if they have another category, and I don't know how you would track it. I feel like you would have to live stream yourself doing it, essentially. You know what I mean?
That has to be.
How do you watch 700 plus theatricals in a year? Like that means he was actually at the theater, or films that were
no, like he went to the cinema. He watched them all in the cinema.
Yeah.
Is it all from the same year?
Yep.
So it was okay. So it was
no retro films.
It was a calendar year.
Oh.
So July 2022 to July 2023.
So do these movies consist of just being in the theater, or are they actual 22, 23 movies?
I assume most of them are. Like he said, he watched Puss in Boots 47 times.
So like, how many movies out of 770, whatever it was, were unique?
Probably like 50.
Because he watched a lot more than once, didn't he? He watched a lot more than once.
He probably
he watched Puss in Boots 40 fucking times.
But 47 times is absolutely fucking insane to me.
Yeah, he was in theaters for a long time. I don't know, but 47 times, like, come on, man.
But he had to have watched a bunch of movies multiple times, because 700 and some theatricals. I don't think that many movies come out theatrical every year. I swear they don't.
If you get like a decent theater chain, you could probably get, I would say, about 20 a month.
And you can also go between multiple theaters, like, because I have like an indie theater that gets like almost all stuff that the regular theater doesn't get. Like one of my Cinemarks is pretty good. It gets a lot of retro stuff. Like it gets like a lot of like couple day events.
You have to be in the right area for that. Like I know in Vancouver, there's 3 or 4 different places that show nothing but different movies. Like you go to Tinseltown, you go to these theaters. It's all you go to one. It's all independent stuff. It's all mainstream over here. It's all that, like, you could probably see. You could go 24 hours a day and see different movies. Like it's crazy. So, but there is theaters that are showing retro stuff though too, right? It's not just films from that time.
Yeah, both the theaters I go to like show different retro stuff.
I noticed that Batman's coming in this weekend for the 35th anniversary.
Yeah, I'm having my Cinemark. I kind of been in a rut, not been going to theaters as much. My Cinemark has gotten really good with like retro stuff. I saw a ton of retro stuff this year.
Yeah, I'd go see Batman. It's only playing on Friday night or Friday matinee and Saturday or something like that. But I'm like, I can't go either times that it's playing.
Yeah,
so
there was some I missed like that too. Like Nightmare on Elm Street was one like I played like one showing and I missed it. Like
there's no way I can go.
Did the TCM. That was a shitty one to miss.
Shit.
The fucking crazy thing about this guy is he owned the record previously, so he's done 716.
Oh, so this is what this guy does.
Yeah.
Honestly, imagine you were like a movie critic. Like this is probably it would probably be like really
But it's
achievable.
crazy when you think about it. It's like more than 2 a day.
Yeah, but like just like you'd have
Like
to be a creature to have
710 would
it.
be 2 a
But
day,
even if you think about it, like you could work a 9 to 5 job, get out of there, and go to the theater,
or
watch some
704. I
movies.
mean,
Yeah, I think this guy might be on like he has a cane, so maybe he's like disabled or something.
no, is it 352
How
days?
much
Oh, yeah.
money do you
No,
think you
it's
spent on popcorn?
704.
Probably a lot.
Yeah,
You must have some type of
probably.
pass though to do all that shit. Like that doesn't make any sense. Like
Yeah,
you're
you'd
not
have to
paying
be.
full.
You gotta go to. Yeah, there's definitely like program. Like
Nobody could
theater
afford
chains
that. That's
have
I
crazy.
can't the thing that's bugging me is I can't find the list of what he like
Yeah.
what all the movies he watched was because I am curious if there was any like if retro like how much retro stuff was there.
Mhm.
They have to. They had to.
Curious.
Like I imagine, like it's just anything that's trackable.
I mean,
Like
if
this guy
if
not
it's
have a damn
specific,
fucking letterbox, man?
if it's specific to just theatricals, I mean, anything that was playing in that time frame is technically theatrical. I mean, if it's straight
Yeah, I don't
modern
think
or
there's
retro,
any
but
I don't think
Yeah,
there's any like rules about
but
like what
still
you
going
can
to the theater
watch.
777 times in 1 year is fucking batshit insane.
yeah. You
Like
gotta be
it's
committed to
insane.
that.
Yeah, pretty crazy, man. Pretty crazy. I will say that.
Well,
Um,
anyways, that is Flesh Freaks and Kill Them and Eat Them. Check it
and
out. Great release.
and Zachariah Swoops
Yeah, that's fucking
record.
insane, dude. That's insane. All right, Tyler, you're up, man. What do you
Give
got
me
for us?
give me 2 seconds because my food just came.
What'd you get?
Crapplebees.
I'm hungry now.
So this guy's about to do a fucking review, and I'm not even editing this out. Fuck this.
Let Tony go next.
In fact, I never actually edit the videos at all because that was the point. Keep it raw. So
Tony, you're next because Tyler's in timeout.
Wait, what do you do? What I miss?
He has to go get his food.
Oh, he
That
ordered food?
Yeah.
Okay, well, since I'm next, we are going to talk about a Halloween movie in October. Thank God. We have Asylum of Terror, which is a 1998 slasher movie.
That movie
But
was set on Halloween and we didn't fucking pick that as the
nope.
featured.
Yep.
Wow,
Yeah.
Tyler, you're a fucking loser.
Honestly, like this entire month was kind of like a bust when it comes to like picking good titles and like I don't know.
Yeah. We had such a good month last month.
Right, last month was good, and I feel like next month is also going to be really, really good.
Yeah.
Where am I at here? All right, so Asylum of Terror from 1998. It was directed by a guy called George Demick, who he's directed some other like low budget shit, but none of it is as popular as this movie. So this is definitely his most popular movie. It's got like 100 logs on Letterboxd, so he's not
I totally have
a
the other one on
very
there.
well-known dude.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
the
picked
other.
this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the old DVD cover right here.
Yeah.
The one that I
Yeah.
always wanted. Yeah, this is a movie I've always wanted to watch. York Entertainment put the old DVD out. I don't know if you remember them. Just
Yeah, York
really
was budget as shit.
budget as shit. I have probably like at least 10 of the releases.
I've got a few too. I never actually owned this one or ever saw this. This was the first time watch for me.
Me too.
Yeah.
Do you have Axum?
Mm-hmm. I do.
Hell yeah. I
Yeah.
can't wait for everybody to watch that movie.
Is that
Axum?
92?
It's 92, yeah.
Yeah, it's a 92
yeah.
movie.
Dude,
And you
92
have to
is
watch
fun.
it.
I've been having so much fun with 92. Even like the bottom movies I've watched so far that were kind of just random stuff. Like I thought were like pretty good.
All right. So there's really literally like this is like the most minuscule plot you could ever imagine in a movie. So the
I
entire
could one up
movie,
you on that.
you think? I mean,
Yeah.
we'll see. So the entire movie takes place in one night, and it's at a haunt in Nashville, Tennessee called Death Row the Haunted Prison, which used to be like a mental asylum back in the day that closed down and now it's just like retooled as this. And for the first like 20 minutes, 20 to 25 minutes, you're just following random patrons as they're standing in line to get into this place. And they're just talking and babbling about literally nothing. In fact, like most of the screen time is given to like these two little kids named Chad and Taylor. One of them has like an Outback Steakhouse shirt, and he kind of looks like the it kind of looks like the I Like Turtles kid. He just has like this Bart Simpson like fucking
I like turtles.
and then his little bro or his big brother Taylor's like this little pudgy kid with like glasses and like an obituary t-shirt. It's pretty awesome. But it's kind of weird. Like those are like almost our main characters because you spend the most time with them and their mom when they're in line for this place. But then they're focusing on this group of like, I don't know, like they're either teenagers or like young adults. You really can't tell with these movies. Like they're in line too and whatever. And shortly, once everybody gets in, there's a killer who's in line with them. He just randomly goes around, starts killing people. For about 60 minutes, we have about 20 plus slasher deaths, and that's pretty much it until the movie ends. Like, really? Like, let me check the body count right here. Like, the first death is logged at 26 minutes, and the last one
kind
is
of a long
logged.
time.
It really is, honestly. Like you are in line with these people in this haunt. To me, I think
this come out
98.
Considering it's only 75 minutes long.
Do you feel like by then it was almost like staple to be like accustomed to like an opening scene kill?
Yeah, you would think, but I don't know.
Yeah, it definitely is.
It starts off really strange. Like it almost just feels like a home video. Like it almost feels like this haunt is just like showing like B-roll footage of like patrons like during the 1998 season. You just see like people standing in line, all this other shit. And I thought that was really cool. Yeah, you're probably right. It was
well, the
normal people.
There's like a sex scene in the beginning of the film too, where I swear to God, the girl is different in shot from shot in that fucking scene too.
Also, probably true.
I swear the actress is different. It's fucking strange to me.
You talking about the one where talking about the one of the guys like massaging her tits for like 5 minutes?
Okay.
Yeah, so, like whatever the fuck's going on.
My tits.
Hell no, she showed her tits because like she dies. She's like stabbed or killed with a chainsaw. I can't remember. But I noticed the way this girl dies, she's like leaned back and it's shot in a way that kind of reminded me of the movie Pieces. Like there's a shot where this girl's like without the arms. I think that's the one where she's like leaned back. And it looked almost exactly like that. I swear he had to like
actually that's a good fucking point. I never even thought of that when I was watching, but yeah, you could be right.
Also, that sex scene was fucking hilarious. Because like this
guy goes
on
forever. It feels like it goes on. Oh,
it goes on forever. This guy is just laid back. He's got this mummy mask on. He doesn't say a fucking word. He's just sitting there massaging this girl's tits. And all she is saying is, I'm so fucking hot right now. We're doing this 15-minute break. Because everybody's got like a Tennessee accent, which makes the movie even better. So yeah, they're immediately killed. The body count is honestly like pretty decent. The director said that he spent probably $20,000 on the entire movie. But there's a lot of stabs. There's only a few off-screen kills, really. But yeah, there's a lot of blood splatter. There's heads being caved in. I think there's some decapitations. There's even a child death. Like one of the poor kids gets like tossed off a balcony and like it's edited in such a weird way. I had to pause it and literally go frame by frame to see exactly what happened. The kid gets thrown off and then like a pole like gets jammed through like the bottom of his chin. Yeah. But then you end up seeing it and like they just show like a 20-second shot of this kid just literally right in front of the camera with this damn pipe in his thing, and he's alive, twitching, moving. You can see that he's breathing. It's terrible.
Yeah.
But well, next I'll talk about the killer, actually. This guy is probably one of the goofiest killers I've seen in such a long time. He first shows up to this place just dressed like a 90s professional wrestler. He's got a mullet and like a handlebar mustache, and he's got the craziest like dad windbreaker on.
So he's like
And
you?
Well, the mustache?
The mullet and mustache.
Well, I don't have a mullet right now. That's just long hair.
You should get a mullet.
What happened to your mullet?
People won't let me have it.
People.
Yeah, they just won't let me do my thing, you know?
You mean Carly?
Carly, my coworkers.
Dude,
Like, you look so much better with short hair. It's like, fuck you. I want
what
to.
do you want to do, man? I had
Yeah,
one
do what
forever.
you
I had
wanna do.
I had a skullet for a long time. You guys remember my long hair?
Dude, you had
Yeah.
a skullet.
Skull it.
Dude, I had the Hogan times 5,
Yeah.
dude. It was
The Hogan.
down
I just
here,
call it the
bro.
Hogan. Yeah, I remember
way
that era.
longer than Hogan's.
You had a big ass.
That's
beard, though,
amazing.
too, right?
I wish I could grow a skullet.
You can. Oh, I guess you actually have hair on the top of your head, so yeah, you can.
I can't
You
believe you
can
just
shave
said
it out.
that.
You can take
You're
care
the
of that.
only man I've ever heard in my entire life that wishes he could grow some sort of bald fucking hairstyle. I'm gonna tell like my bald like close friends in my chat that you said that. They're gonna lose their fucking minds because all they do is cry about how much hair
Because
they
they're gonna
don't
be
have.
because they'll be like, you know what? I'd like to grow a fucking crew cut.
Dude,
Right.
I just think like if it happens, it happens, dude. I don't give a fuck enough to care if I'm bald.
Honestly, that's
You
exactly.
might be
how
good
I
though,
feel.
man, because you're in your 30s now, man. If you still got hair, you might be good.
I mean, it's definitely like my hairline's definitely like going back a little bit, but you know.
Yeah,
I haven't
but
started
you-
losing hair.
I
at
started
all.
losing my hair when I was 22.
Yeah,
Like
haven't started
I already
losing
noticed
hair
it
at
thinning. I was
all.
like, oh shit, bro, like that's not good.
Yeah, I'm what
Oh, no.
30.
I'm doing okay. I have no signs of hair loss yet.
Yeah, your hair's pretty thick.
I've got the JP like slight like receding, so you and I are like doing it the
Yeah.
right way.
Oh, I got it. In my 20s, there was like one of my like good like gaming buddies was having like a good season, so he was getting like a lot of coverage, and he was also starting to lose his hair. So he was like pretty insecure about that. With like he grew it long. He kind of like actually had kind of like a skullet, and his like hairline was getting worse and worse. And he like started wearing hats. And then like people start commenting on YouTube videos like, "What's under the hat? Take your hat
Well, dude,
off."
listen, the more you try to hide it, the more obvious it is.
Was your
If
friend
you just
cool,
fucking
dude?
rock it, dude.
Dude, I felt bad for me. Like he wasn't handling it well, and I think people like and what people just kept saying like, "Just shave your head," and then one
Right.
day-
Well, that's the thing. Like, why try to hold on to it, man? Like sometimes I'll see these guests who like literally have like this stupid like comb over like
like no one can tell.
90% bald shit, and I'm like,
Dude,
come on, man. Just
when
let
I
it
started
go.
going bald, man, I just like embraced it. I didn't give a fuck. Like I grew the skullet, but I actually did it as like, you know, like I grew it for cancer though too, right? I mean, it started out as a joke, like I'm gonna grow.
I like people that do that.
And then I was like, you know what, man? Like, you know, I own a salon, and I'm like, fuck, let's do this shit, man. So I grew it really long, and we cut it because I actually like my hair was actually quite nice, just didn't have it on the top. And I'm like, fuck it, man. Let's do something good with it, man. I'll make a joke of it for a couple years, and we'll cut it off and donate and shit. We raised like a few $1,000s, man. You know, so did it for a good cause. But you know, you look back in the videos with me, the long hair and shit, like that skullet shit, man. It's like I toughed it out, dude. But I just embrace it, man. If you want to do this shit, man, roll with it. Don't be embarrassed. Fucking people with their fucking hair, they're so vain. People are so fucking vain. I'm losing my fucking hair. I'm gonna lose my fucking mind. Who cares, dude?
Hair is the
I'm
most
about to call
temporary
Carly
thing
and ask
there
her if
ever
I can
was.
You know,
skull.
I was one of those people in high school that I had the full long hair. Like I had long hair past my shoulders. It was really nice. People loved my hair. And when I started losing, I was like, at first I was like, fuck. You know, I had short hair at the time, but I was like, fuck, I'm losing my hair. I'm like, that's crazy. But you embrace it, dude. I never was that person.
I feel like I feel like it only matters as much as you think it does.
Yeah, I'm so confident in myself.
If you see a bald dude walking down the street that like got his head shaved because he's bald, like I don't look at that dude and be like, fucking loser lost all his hair. I'm just like, dude,
you might snicker at the guy like with the comb over. That's like
that guy. I might fucking be like
the comb over is like the sign that you're like literally just letting everybody know you're insecure about it because you're not fooling anyone.
100%.
Right.
I always had something to fall back on though, because I was like, I'm losing my hair on my head, but I can grow a nice fucking beard.
Dude, I remember that. Whatever. I remember like I literally remember like dudes that were like 16 starting to like their hair was like receding, and I just felt so bad in high school. I was like, dude, you're fucked.
Man, imagine being bald and you can't grow a beard. Like, imagine getting that double whammy.
Yeah,
I would just kill myself.
Just patchy beard, just a patchy beard.
I couldn't grow a beard until, dude, you could like actually look through my YouTube history of I started in 2012, and like when I had first like have a beard is when I first could grow it, which was way after.
Yeah, so it took me patchier than I would like,
and mine's still a little patchy.
Yeah, I'm so much patchier.
I have like this Wolverine patch thing that doesn't grow right here.
I get the comments all the time, man. Like the 22 faces of Moodz, because like,
you did like, so especially back in the day when you used to do like videos more often. Like one day you'd have fucking handlebar mustache, and then fucking it was just wild.
I would have long hair. I would have a fucking. Remember when I grew the year beard? When I had the big bushy fucking year beard?
Yeah, dude.
It was it's all started from
November. Did it start from November?
No, my buddy said to me, we were sitting around drinking one night, and he goes, "Could you like?" I don't know how it got into it, but he's like, "Could you imagine just growing a beard for a year?" And I was like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "Literally not shaving for an entire year." And I was like,
"Not even trimming?"
No. And well, like, I mean, just, kind of certain areas got to be trimmed a little bit, but like letting it grow for a whole year, like just see where it goes. And I was like, that's fucking crazy. I'm like, I could do it. And he's like, I bet you $1,000 so you couldn't do it.
I don't even think mine would get that insane after a year.
So
Honestly.
the rule,
I feel like mine would maybe look like Tyler's.
So the rule was that we were allowed to like just kind of trim a little bit here, just so it didn't get crazy out here. But I just let it go. And what it came down to, like, I actually went to Wasteland one year when I had that big fucking beard and shit. People were like, "Man, that's fucking crazy, man." So crazy. Literally a year beard. So
I can't stand neck hair, so I can't do. I don't.
Yeah, I'm starting to get really itchy, and like I've been like just persuaded to not shave a few times over the last couple months, but I think I'm gonna hardly like.
I haven't had a good beard in a while. Like I get to this point, I'm like, I'm so itchy right now. Like I'm literally itchy as fuck. I need to shave, but I usually have a clean face right now. But it is getting colder here, so you might see me with a bigger beard coming out here because I work outside, right? So
yeah,
it is what it is.
I just wanted to try the mountain man look for a little bit and see what it looks like, but like,
you got me wanting to grow a year-long beard. I've never tried that.
Yeah, and it was funny.
Like you should before you die.
I did. I would grow I would have a stash, or just like the handlebars, or I'd have like a beard, and then it would be. Oh, I changed my style. Like it was every 2 weeks. It was different, man. It's crazy. But that's just me. That's my personality. I like to do whatever. I don't care. And like when I had the mustache, though, the comments, holy fuck, that was when I got the most hate ever. People were just like, "Look at this fucking." They would call me a rapist. I'm like, because I have a mustache. I'm like,
I wish I could grow a stronger mustache.
Those motherfuckers are jealous, man.
It was fucked.
That's all it is.
I don't get that hate anymore. It sucks. I miss the hate, man. But whatever. They were fun comments. But we used to actually have a point on the podcast where
this is all the facial hair I could grow back then.
Damn,
you look so Mexican. You look so Mexican there, man.
Yeah, what happened, JP? now you're like 5% Mexican.
Yeah.
And I like doubled in size too, it feels like.
That reminds me of like that one joke in Joe Dirt, like when they're like talking about his beard. He's like, "So you're telling me that your beard grows all white trashy that way?" He's like,
yeah. Do I really look Mexican here?
Yep.
Yeah.
You know what the crazy thing is,
you
man?
look completely different. You don't even look like the same person.
You know what's crazy, dude, is that when I started on YouTube, I was heavy and I got really fucking heavy, and you were super skinny, and we fucking totally
yeah, I remember that. That was 12 years ago, dude.
Damn,
like at the
when's
heaviest
the next
point,
paradigm shift?
The heaviest
Hopefully
point I
soon.
got to was I was 200 and I think 280 I hit at one point, and I was like, okay.
Damn, yeah.
And I literally lost 100. I went down to 180. And I reside around 190. I'm around one. I don't like being at 180. It's too small for me. I feel like I'm too frail. So I purposely try to stay around 190. So
yeah, I think is that where you are right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that when you first dropped all the weight, you were a little too like thin looking. I think right now you've like filled it out perfect.
Yeah, I tried to figure it out because I was like, I even said to I was like, oh, dude, I'm way too fucking small here. That's not good for my frame because I'm 6'1", right? So,
yeah.
But yeah, 190 in that range, like that's where I try to be at. So, but it's just it's fucking weird when you look back on, because we've been together for, and I say that because, you know, hetero life mate for 12 years. It's so weird.
Yeah, going into 13, bro.
Yeah, 13 fucking years.
No, we're in 13 already, I think.
Right.
Kind of.
Yeah. But yeah, Tony.
That's nuts, bro.
Asylum of Terror.
Oh yeah. Where did
we
I
keep
leave
tangenting.
Oh yeah, the killer. I love the look of the killer. I like his stupid windbreaker. I love the mullet, speaking of the hair. I like how he arrived at this haunt with nothing, and then throughout the movie he had like 3 different disguise changes. And by that I just mean he went from one shitty mask to the next. So he killed a guy and he got a $3 Jason mask, and then he ran around and killed with that for about 20 minutes. And then he killed a guy and got an even shittier Michael Myers mask. And honestly, this might be the worst Michael Myers mask I've ever seen in my entire life.
But you know, the funny thing is, it still looks better than part 4.
True that. It looks better than everything past part 2, honestly. Like,
yeah.
The way I feel about it is if you're not going to be good, then you need to be bad on a completely different spectrum. You know what I mean? So I'm glad that they chose like the worst Michael Myers mask, because that just makes me laugh.
Have you ever read the synopsis on IMDb for Asylum of Terror? I just looked at it right now. It literally says it's fucked, man. A child molester's ghost terrorizes an amusement park. I just looked. I had to say this because I almost burst out laughing. What in the fuck did I just read?
It's completely not what the movie is about at all.
So, is it supposed to be supernatural? Or is it just some dude? It's
not supernatural. It's just the guy who used to be an inmate at this asylum, just going back as like a patron at this haunt.
That's what I thought. I was like, what the? I'm like, did I miss something? I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, there's literally nothing supernatural about it at all.
That's really fucking funny. Because like it's
not even haunted.
So it says on the other storyline, it says, years ago, a fire killed every patient at an old mental asylum, including a maniac who molested and murdered children. Decades later, a company built an amusement park over an old asylum, and the long dormant ghost of the maniac rises from the grave to pick up where he left off.
Yeah, that's complete horseshit.
That's 2 different fucking synopsises on here.
Yeah, who the fuck wrote that? Like, this is about as basic as a slasher as you can get. Like, this is the most basic slasher movie ever.
Maybe it's supposed to be supernatural, but they just never do anything in it. Like, I mean, they don't even bring up the fucking past of the old asylum.
They do in passing. So, like, basically, when the teens are in there, they're like, basically, scaring each other.
Right.
They're like, they talk about like Ed Gein. They're like,
yeah,
Ed Gein used to be in here, but then the killer, you don't know he's the killer until you see him actually kill somebody. He comes up behind him, he's like, well, actually, it's Ed Gein, and he didn't go in there. I hate when people say Ed Gein. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. But yeah, he just like pops up behind them. He's like, yeah, but this place did hold some crazy people. And he said it like a harbinger of doom, but actually he's the harbinger
Right,
of doom.
right.
So yeah, which I thought was really cool. But yeah, the Michael Myers mask was pretty amazing, but it's not even the best mask in the movie. Like 20 minutes like left of the movie, he kills a guy and he puts on this white mask that's supposed to be like a spoof of like a crow mask. Like it's just like a plain
Hmm.
white face with like the paint, but it literally just looks like a Sting mask, like the wrestler Sting.
Yeah.
So it looks like this big, like kind of fat dude stalking around this place in a windbreaker with a mullet and a Sting mask going around killing people in this haunt in fucking Nashville, Tennessee in 1998. Like this is the type of shit that I live for.
Uh,
Like it's like these time capsules like into these little worlds. Like
Yeah.
this is the stuff that interests me. I don't give a fuck about like your $20 million Hollywood budget pieces of shit. Like I want to know about like real life and real life situations
hmm
and
hmm
like people making these weird little movies for next to nothing. Like watching this movie for the first time this year just made me so happy.
Right.
How did you feel when you watched it?
I was, man, I was thoroughly enjoying the movie completely. It's just like I'd only ever read about this movie as being like the biggest piece of shit ever. But you know, it's people writing reviews that don't necessarily watch these type of shot on video films and don't understand this type of filmmaking, which, you know, it's fine with me. It's fine with me. I don't take it
Hmm.
serious. I take it with a grain of salt. It is what it is. But like every review, like I don't think I even read anything positive, which is crazy. Um, it's because I guess people like us aren't writing reviews on IMDb or Letterbox. I have no idea, but
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, I
it
mean,
it's a shame because like if you're into these type of films, it's like, you know, it's like Flesh Freaks, right? Like I can see so many people hating on these movies, but then there's us that love these type of movies, you know. And this is fun, man. It's a really really fun fucking movie, dude. Like the only problem I had with the movie though, and it's definitely the way it was done. It's really dark. It's dark for what it is, and it doesn't sound great. Where Flesh Freaks actually sounds really fucking good, and even the other feature, like they actually the sound is good. Like it's not bad. I don't know if it's just the way they couldn't. You know, it's hard to remaster things sometimes if it's done really poor. So I'm just assuming that the sound was done better on Flesh Freaks, but Asylum of Terror it's a little dark, it's a little muddy with the sound and stuff, but it's still fun.
yeah, the video quality is kind of beat up too. Like it really is like kind of a beat up movie. Like I
Mhm.
wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't look any better than the DVD that came out 20 years ago. But it does have subtitles, and to me that is very important to a movie like this because like you said, like half the time the dialogue is muddled and all this other shit, like you just won't be able to catch anything.
Right. Right.
And then yeah, like let's be real, the movie is fucking bad. Like the killer stares into the camera probably like 300 times as he's like walking. The
Yeah.
chase scenes are fucking horrible. Like it's literally like a guy setting a camera on a tripod and just saying, walk past this camera. And they do it over and over and
Yeah, yeah.
over. And I
Yeah.
swear they do it in like the same two or three hallways.
To make it
Except
look
like,
really long.
yeah, except they'll change the green light, make it blue this time. Like, but the thing about this movie is that there's just an earnestness to it. Like you feel the heart, like, and I don't know, to me, like this stuff like this is just infectious and I love it. This movie has a fire stunt. And that like blew me the fuck away that a movie so small and so ultra low budget actually has a person being lit on fire, and it's
Yeah.
not, and it's legit too. Like he was on fire for like 20 seconds. Like to me,
That is fucking crazy.
that was probably the most impressive thing about this movie. Let's see, what am I missing? The soundtrack is like the most fucked up thing I've ever heard in my life. It's got either the most weird, shitty, like EDM, boring, fucking like dance beat music, like while the killer's like chasing people through here. But then sometimes there's like these weird, like moody, like rock songs that are almost like kind of like college rock songs that I really like too during like the dialogue scenes. And another thing that's really cool is that like the soundtrack is actually on the Blu-ray, the
Yeah.
entire soundtrack, so you can rip that and listen to it if you want. I don't know if anybody actually will. I probably will. I'm a soundtrack whore, so like just that alone, I'm like, I can't believe that fucking exists. Let's see. What else do I have? There's a lot of padding in this movie. It's only 75 minutes long. There's a 5 minute credit sequence at the end of the movie. And then there's probably another 3 minute recap of all the deaths that happen in the movie.
Right, right.
So yeah, lots of padding in this movie. There's a lot of padding in this movie. Like when I say like those chase scenes are boring as fuck, like I would almost compare it to like In a Violent Nature, honestly. Like half the time you're just following the killer walking around this haunt. So maybe
the sound design in this is not of that of a violent nature, where it's like enthralling to me. It's like AMSR.
oh yeah, it is because you can hear like the crickets. You can literally hear every little thing, but this is just like crappy techno music.
Yeah.
To a guy walking through like a foggy hallway with a Sting mask and a windbreaker jacket.
Did you like In a Violent Nature?
Me? I love that movie.
Yeah, I think it's fucking fantastic too.
I can't wait to watch it again.
Yeah.
But yeah, Asylum of Terror is a fun movie. Like, I would really recommend watching it around October. Like, if you're into that sort of thing. Like, it's definitely not as good as movies like Haunted Ween or even Haunt. I don't know. I'm trying to think. Like, it might
What
be.
about like Scary Movie?
I would put this over Scary Movie, honestly. The John Hawkes movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In terms of like the haunt subgenre of movies, this one's probably like towards the bottom, but it's still a pretty fun movie. I'd probably give it like a 6.5 out of 10. Like
again, it has heart. It has heart. Like it's meant to be. They set out to make a good movie, like a decent movie. You know, like what you can do with your elements, but you know, you can just see it in it, man. Like they tried. So I give them props.
Yeah, me too. And it's a fun movie to throw on in the background too. Like it's basically a 60-minute kill compilation. Like it's perfect just to have like in the background at Halloween parties and whatnot.
Yeah.
But in terms of features, there's a commentary I didn't listen to. There is an interview with the director, which was really interesting. He goes throughout the whole history. Like he actually worked at the haunt and he talked about the people about possibly like creating a room because he was interested in doing stuff like that. And the guy wasn't interested in giving him the space, but he was going to give him the space to make a movie there. So he's like, okay, so he did that there anyways. He another interesting thing about this interview is that I didn't know this watching the movie, but there's a credit in the movie for a breast wrangler. He was talking about how there was a guy that was like on the crew that was literally in charge of like supplying the boobs that you see in the movie. And he actually has a credit as a breast wrangler in it.
So just like going out there and finding women that would do it.
Yeah, being like, oh yeah, he's like not the snake wrangler, the breast wrangler.
That's funny.
So, and also apparently the guy who played the killer, he had like a back injury and he had back surgery like a few weeks before the shoot. And apparently they were planning a lot more like elaborate chase scenes and like stunts for the killer and shit. So they obviously couldn't do that. So they had him just pace around like Jason Voorhees, like in a hallway for 20 minutes.
Nice.
But besides that, like it's a really cool interview. It's 30 minutes long and he goes basically through the whole history of the movie from the beginning all the way to even like the DVD edition of it through York Entertainment, which I thought was also interesting. But yeah, I would recommend checking that out. Um, there's also interviews with some of the actors and the composers, and it's just more of the same stuff. People just talking about their histories and their stories on the movie and whatnot. It's just everybody seems to be in good spirits about the movie. They all had a good time doing it. It just seemed like a labor of love between everybody involved. There's an image gallery, which is whatever. I already talked about the soundtrack, but there's two short films that are on this Blu-ray too that I also want to mention by this director that I find really interesting. One is called Blood Dreams from 1983. They're both shot on video, but this one is actually really cool because it kind of predates Nightmare on Elm Street. It's about these people that are like having these really bad nightmares and that they're dying in their sleep the next day. And
so you telling me that Wesley Craven ripped off this guy's movie? Is that
Yeah,
what that's the claim you're making tonight?
I think that's
It is called Blood Dreams, man. I was gonna watch these too. I wish I had to watch these now.
It's
he just
it's definitely it's definitely not Nightmare on Elm Street, but the fact that this came out a year before it and it kind of deals with like dying in your dreams and shit was really cool to see.
Yeah.
And it's a really clean copy. Both of these are really clean. It's nice. The gore is actually really decent and the audio is way better than Asylum of Terror. And then the second one, So Say the Dead, is about like these paranormal like experts going to a haunted house and basically the house just starts fucking them up. And it's another like really fun like shot on video short that I would really recommend people check out. Like I would almost recommend people check out those two shorts more than Asylum of Terror, honestly. Like I was really blown away by how cool these shorts were.
So what's the deal then? Because we got two short films on here. Like what did he do in between 83 or 84 and like 98? Does he have other stuff?
No, that's it.
What the fuck?
Like
so he did two films weird. And then 14 years later he does a fucking movie, like a feature?
Yeah, he has a really
he got
weird...
the game back together.
He's
like, I'm gonna finally make the fucking
so
movie.
Strange.
Yeah, so he did those two shorts in the 80s. He did this in 98, and then he did a couple low budget movies in the 2000s, and then he did some Bigfoot movie in 2017. But like nobody's seen any of these movies.
What happened between 85 and 97? That's fucking crazy.
He gave up on his dreams and then he had a midlife crisis, so he started making movies.
I'm not sure actually, because like during that director's interview, he doesn't even really mention those. Like he just immediately starts on Asylum of Terror and just talks about it.
Right.
Yeah, if I ever met that guy, I would talk to him about those two.
Yeah, it's really interesting because when you do a couple short films that are decent, and then there's a whole that's a big period, dude. That's a big period. That's enough of a period for you to get out of films.
But to go and make a full and he just like, I don't know, he probably like met someone or something that like rekindled it, or like something came up in life where he's like,
you did mention that it cost him about $20,000 to make Asylum of Terror. Maybe it took those 14 years to actually
maybe he just found he tried to like make something, and one day he's like gonna try again, and he like found somebody or had more ways to raise the funds.
It took him 15 years to get the funds for it, and then
got
no sound quality.
knocked on doors for 15 years and was like, "Can I have some money to make a movie?" And someone was like, "I'll give you 20 grand." And he was like, "I'll take it."
Yeah, I don't know, but I really want to talk to this guy about those two shorts because
Right.
those shorts are like better made than Asylum of Terror is too, like production wise.
I
It
mean,
was
it's
just
possible he was just younger and it was like heart was in it and he wanted to do this. And I don't know, maybe it's just like it's something that like came along organically. And he's like, "Fuck it, I'll make a low budget slasher."
So crazy, man. 83, 84 shot on video is like so early in the game too. It's so fucking early.
right. Like
Like,
it's such a surprise. Like it's literally like to me like a diamond
yeah,
like in the rough like this release. Like I want to like talk to people about these short films. Like y'all need to check these out.
crazy.
Yeah, those are my favorite thing about this release. But yeah, I would recommend this. Like obviously I love slasher movies, but if you're into Halloween like horror movies and shit like that, like I would wait for a sale. I wouldn't pay like full price for this thing, but yeah, I would recommend Asylum of Terror. It's like a 6.5 out of 10.
Right.
Sweet.
With that, I got to give Flesh Freaks at least a 7, man. Come on.
Yeah, Flesh Freaks was cool.
It
It
was fun.
was it was a little on the talky side to me, but besides that, I had a pretty good time with it.
But I mean, with that though too, like there was a lot of zombie action, which was quite surprising.
Right. And I was just surprised at the amount of like zombie effects themselves.
Yeah, but it's a different type of zombie film. It's not one of those like stuck in like cannibalistic zombie films. It's more of an infection film. It's kind of interesting. But all right, Tyler, what do you got for us?
All right. We have this release from the Connie line, and it is a Hong Kong film from Patrick Tam called My Heart Is That Eternal Rose. The title has really nothing to do with the movie. It's just kind of there. But yeah, I actually thought this was pretty freaking good. Um, it's definitely like it's definitely like you're almost kind of like towards your like stock like Hong Kong crime thriller, but it's got a little bit of like a romance angle like shoehorned in, but it's nothing like it like spends a bunch of time on, and it's nothing like I would like. It's definitely like much more like thriller like action like crime before it is like a romance movie, but it kind of has like that's basically just Kate's into the storyline. And it's got like a really like kind of like neon style that is kind of emerging at this time. That's like this the cover is actually kind of like an accurate visual of like what a lot of the scenes are lit like in this film. And yeah, I really liked it. Basically, it's got a pretty simple plot. Yeah, it's kind of about like the Hong Kong just you stock Hong Kong gang movie. So these guys go into a job. It's like a kidnapping, and it goes wrong. And it's a younger man. His boss, uh, who's a bit older, is kind of like Mr. Miyagi type. He's kind of like he's out of the game. He's a bit older, and he's kind of just like doing a job like on the side. And there's this like cop that's part of the gang that like he knows that knows the older guy. And then there's the daughter who's in a relationship with the younger guy that works with her father. Um, he's kind of like a guy that had gone like straight at this point, and this was like a job like he was doing like as a favor, like he owned like a bar and all that. So yeah, they do this job together, and things go awry. It doesn't go as planned, and the father gets kidnapped. And his younger associate, God, who plays these people? I should be telling you this. Yeah, the boyfriend Rick, that's his name. He's played by Kenny Bay, who kind of has it, who really kind of had like that like pop star idol look to him. And the daughter is Lap. So Rick and Lap are together. And her father's like a retired crime boss, and something goes wrong with the thing with a job, which is like some sort of kidnapping. So they don't really get into specifics. So this movie's very go go go, which is a good. It's definitely an up point about this film. And the father gets captured, and Ricky and Lap go. I have to. Ricky is gonna get killed if they find him. They're looking like the gang. I'm not explaining this well. The part of the job like involved like a rival gang, and that gang is now coming after Ricky and have kidnapped the father. So he's dead. So he has to flee Hong Kong and go to the Philippines. And because of that, he separates with Lap, the girl he's with, and what he doesn't see because he's in hiding, he ran away like once all like the gang showed up and the stuff went down. Is Lap went to her father's business partner, who's like kind of like who's the same type of like badass in the game gangster, and basically agreed to be his companion girl, and stay there in Hong Kong with him if he was able to get her father saved by pulling some strings. He's like that Godfather type here in this crime world. So he does that, and she promises Ricky that she's going to go to the Philippines and meet him with her. But you see him sail off. This is all like in the first like 25 minutes, and then it says like 6 years later, and then it cuts to Ricky reading a letter from her about her basically saying it's time for I decided this isn't the life we live opposite lifestyles, we can't be together, and all of this, and basically letting him down easy. And now that it's 6 years later, Ricky has came back to Hong Kong to work as an assassin, and Lap is still under in the crime organization with her father's associate that he promised to be the companion girl to, and her father, who's like now like a drunk, like just watching his daughter be like some guy's whore, and this whole situation. And she has like a bodyguard paid by what's his name, Tony Lei Feng. I never can name these people on the spot. Yeah, Tony Leung, who's like one of like the most giant stars of Hong Kong. He's like in all the John Woo movies. He was in like the American movie Shang-Chi. He was like he's in all the Wong Kar-wai's movies. He's like the fucking guy, and this is an early role for him. So it was really cool that he was in this as well. And he's her bodyguard. And now that the guy Ricky has came back to the island, he confronts her, and he learns about the situation with the father, with her having to agree to be the companion girl with the father, and then it kind of just becomes like this like game of her like trying to escape. This movie like from there, even from the beginning, like just there's twists and twists. So I don't like really want to say more about the plot, but it's honestly a really good thriller. It's a little bit sloppy, it's a little bit repetitive, but I liked it a lot. What makes this movie really good is the style of the movie, and that's like the real standout to it. It's got a lot of these like really like super neon lit, like soft glidey, like glowy shots. It has like that like it has like that K-pop music, not K-pop. It's got that like that
K-pop.
Yeah, like Asian pop music.
I love K-pop. Just to have on the background, it's
like
amazing.
if you've seen like these Hong Kong movies, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Like it's very much just like a good Hong Kong crime flick. It's just the romance is like when you look at these movies, they go. I like to say like they go in like two angles. Like there's the John Woo angle where they end up getting a little over the top, like super violent, lots of gunfighting, and it's fucking awesome. It's a great time. And there's like the Wong Kar-wai angle that goes into this, who's actually Patrick Tam's like pupil, or he was his mentor. And he also had a movie that came out this year. It was his first movie, As Tears Go By, that you could tell has got a ton of influence from this movie. And then like the style of this movie gets more pronounced in his work, like in the films he made throughout the 90s after that, and like really broke away from this. But you can see like there's a lot of influence from like both the film, like from both him and John Woo in this movie. This is like the perfect blend between them both. It's not like as like experimental into the Wong Kar-wai, like, and not as like moody and more leaning into the romance before the violence as his films, but it has that like really slick style. If you've seen his movies, I'm a huge fan of him. If you're maybe some people have noticed the box set over my left shoulder, but he's my guy. He's my favorite Hong Kong director. But I'm sure more people are familiar with like the high octane violence of John Woo. This is like the perfect like middle ground between this. Like you never really see like in like the kind of like the romance like variety of the Hong Kong crime movies where they get that violent. There's usually like violent scenes, but it's almost a little bit more like stylistic and it's not like plentiful. This movie, like, it does not fuck around. Like, I was like almost shocked by like that outburst of violence, and it's like, uh, the thing about John Woo movies, if you see him too, is they always build and they keep like getting more insane like as they go along. Yeah, and this movie does that too. And the end is like so over the top, like a John Woo movie, and I fucking loved it. But it still like retains the style. It's like it's super unique. I liked it a lot. Um, but yeah, this is definitely what I would recommend if you're into these types of movies. Like it's brisk, it's pretty quiet, it's pretty like slick too. It's like 90 minutes long, so it goes right by. Like it's got a good soundtrack, like the lighting's really cool, the camera works interesting. And I know I keep saying it's like a romance movie, but it's not a role. It's not though. Like it is, but it's like it's not the point of the movie. It's just like it's something kind of more interesting, like kind of like roped into it. And the characters like that, like Ricky's a great character. The character Chung by Tony Leung is a great character. Like a lot of these sequences are really great. Yeah, with Lap's character, it's a really good blend. Like there's definitely some elements to it that could be improved. It is a little sloppy. It's a little repetitive, a little rough around the edges, but it's like the effort is really there, and it's something I like really enjoy, and I would absolutely recommend it for fans of these type of movies. It's definitely like it's not as good as like the best of the movies, like as from like you see from like Woo or Carwai, like I've been talking about. But it's pretty good. It's like I liked it a lot. Um, the features on this, there's not a ton, but they are pretty interesting. This is a Hong Kong movie from 1989, so it's kind of hard to get people that really like speak anything about this movie. But they did have a producer on the movie talk, and he has like a 20-minute interview, and he speaks English very well. So that was just probably an awesome stroke of luck that he was like available for them to even talk about this movie. And like his interview was kind of informal. He kind of just like kept babbling and talking about like comparing like working with like Wong Kar-wai and like working with Patrick Tam and like their styles, like how they and he just kind of like talked about them and like was like very proud of like to like work with like to be working with like in Hong Kong with these part of things. But one thing he did note about choosing Patrick Tam to direct this was that someone said, he's like, well, did you know it was going to be like a romance movie like this? He's like, I knew if I hired Patrick Tam, it would be a romance movie like this. I haven't seen any of his other movies, but I'm not going to presume they have like at least some buildings to this style and they're like kind of romance crime movies. But yeah, he hired him specifically because he wanted that touch to the movie, and he said like I could hire anybody to make like a crime, like a crime or a cop drama, but I wanted something like special like this movie. And yeah, it's just like it's the sum of all parts, just like really coming together. And I definitely see like the influence it had on like the '90s wave of films like this. And yeah, I really liked it a lot. It was a pretty decent interview to have in there. There's also 3 episodes of TV, of a TV anthology series that Patrick Tam directed in the '70s. Two are from a show called CID. I don't know what it stands for, and the other is from a show called didn't even this one didn't even have a title sequence the on the disc, so I just noticed it actually like tells you on here somewhere.
It's just an episode from
Underdogs.
a show.
Yeah, okay. So one of them's a show Underdogs, and there's two are from the show CID. I mean, they are what they are. They're all like 50 minutes long, which is you might like these a little bit more if they were like 30 minutes. They're not bad, but they're just like they're there. The quality's not great because it's Hong Kong '70s TV, so like you're not seeing any like violent movies. They're like daytime TV cop dramas. one of the CID episodes was it was like an anthology episode. Like they had like four different scenarios with different police officers, like one in the morning, one in the afternoon, one in the evening, and one at night. They were all different types of crimes I'm dealing with. And that was kind of interesting. Um, the other CID episode was like about like basically these like teddy girls or like like British rebel girls like in Hong Kong, like that were Hong Kong girls basically cosplaying as them, like just doing petty theft. It was kind of, I don't know. They were fine for what they were. I was definitely like losing interest in them like as I got towards the end of them. But it's cool that they were able to put something on there and you scrap stuff together for a release for like a movie that like most people working on this movie like they probably live in Hong Kong still or like not here, don't speak the language, it's 35 years old and like you have people in this movie that went on to be huge stars that probably don't care to talk about it. So for as a release, I'm not buying it for the features particularly, but they're not bad for what they are. And the release itself is really good. I really liked this movie. I definitely watch it again. I think the cover looks pretty good. It almost has this weird quality to it. You can't really see it on the camera, but like the way this like thing is like painted on, it almost looks like 3D. Like it tripped me out for a little bit. But yeah, it's an easy recommend if you're into movies of this ilk. I'd really give it a strong 7.5 out of 10.
Okay. So can you run back that synopsis for me again?
Okay, so the synopsis would be Ricky Lapp and
Totally joking, dude. I got you, man.
I was about to say, motherfucker.
I can go.
You literally took 25 minutes to tell the synopsis, and I was like, "Wow, I don't think I've ever heard someone do that before."
My way through that. No, I was leaving out.
I don't think you guys got the joke there,
but where it literally didn't make any sense at all, and I was just fumbled all over that. But like, I try to like not give away. Like, I try to be as bare bones as possible in my description because
I don't know
like that.
Maybe I'm too high.
If the synopsis is so complicated. Think of the easiest way to say it. Just do it in like one line.
It's like honestly, it's like the movie. It's not even about the plot. Like it's the plot's not that crazy. It's a Hong Kong crime movie, but it's like a really fucking cool Hong Kong crime movie.
Yeah, it seems basic, but it seems just very solid. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
it's
the way you're selling it. Yeah, I think I'm gonna buy it.
Yeah, like if you like these movies, like you'll like this movie, and like you wouldn't expect the violence to be what it is.
It's not heavy on the romance, though, right?
No, it's like it's such a touch. It's like part of the story. It's like
because you know me, I fucking hate romance. Romance is really stupid.
It's like people these two in a relationship. This one has to go to like flee, and she has to be like the gang leader's whore. And now like 6 years later, he comes back and like they're reunited. And he tries to help her escape. And that's it's a skeleton plot. Like it drives the story forward, right. But it's like it's a crime movie.
Well, that's a perfect perfect segue, man. I just said romance is stupid. So
okay, so the film that I picked, they gave me shit for, and then turns out they were right. So the film is Go Fish. It is the, I guess, latest cinematograph. And it is from the year 1994.
So the title is funny, right?
Go Fish, yeah.
Like it's meant to be funny, right? Like we don't have to interpret the title.
Right. The title actually is kind of clever given the movie. I'll give it that.
Well, it's about lesbians. Come on, like I mean,
but just like the way of the movie is like what they're trying to do. They're basically like we were kind of pre-gaming talking about it earlier. Where we'll just wait till we get into it. But the title I think actually does fit pretty well.
Yeah. So this film is about a girl named Max who is a college-age lesbian living in Chicago. And she's going through a bit of a dry spell with the ladies, and her roommate Kia sets her up with this girl named Ellie, who is a little bit older, maybe a little hippie-ish, and Max is immediately dismissive because she doesn't seem, I assume it's like not really her type. and kind of like makes fun of her a little bit, and then they end up hitting it off, but then you find out that Ellie has a woman across the country that she's in a relationship with. Um and then like most of the movie is just like a bunch of lesbians like talking pretty much. There's a romantic aspect to the Max and Ellie character. So watching this movie, like the first that like there's a few like takeaways for me. Like for one, I just think I'm not the audience for this at all. Like I just I
that's
did
more than
None
like
of
fair.
us are.
sometimes if you're not the audience, you could at least like understand, and you can in this movie a bit, but it's just not as interesting to an outside person, the particular topics that they talk about in this movie. It's really just a movie about queer people and like their day to day, and sort of just like um their own little world of like things that go on in their world and the discussions that they have. There's a few things, so it's definitely, it like leaks of 90s indie like do it yourself like Clerk shit, you know what I mean? And a lot of it is like, I think that the most interesting aspects of the film is actually when they're like just laying on the floor with their like heads all in a row like talking. um but even that, it's like I don't feel like the dialogue was interesting enough, or the topics were interesting enough to
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
hold your attention. But like I would say like the I think like one of the best scenes is like when they're talking about like the names for vaginas and stuff, like honeypot and stuff. That was like, I was like, if this had, if like, because that reminds you of like Clerks or something, right? Like just
Mhm.
homies sitting around like talking about like dumb shit. And like if there was more of that throughout the whole movie, I think it would have been more interesting, because that was one of the better scenes. And I like the concept of them like laying around like talking about like lesbian stuff. And then the other scene that I think was like good was the scene where the girl like slept with a dude, and like there's
Yeah.
like this whole topic about like, you know, real lesbian type shit, you know, because I know that just from like seeing different media and like talking to people and stuff, I know there is like a little bit of like a gatekeepy like thing in some of these communities, you know what I mean? And like a certain
There's an
stigma.
actual term for that, right? Like a lesbian that hasn't had sex with a man. Like there's like an actual like term
Really?
they use
There
amongst
probably
themselves.
is. Yeah, there's
Yeah.
probably a term for like all different scenarios.
A
Right.
lesbian
Yeah.
that hasn't had sex with a man is called a lesbian.
I'm looking that up.
Non-bisexual. I mean, I get that whole aspect. Like, I get that conversation and stuff, but like, because you have like these hardcore lesbians, which they're almost like referred to as like dykes. You know, it's like the hardcore lesbians that don't accept the woman that has had sex with a man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's
Like,
a topic in the movie, which is probably one of the more interesting topics of the
yeah,
entire
that
movie.
conversation actually was pretty interesting in the film, and it like she was just being ridiculed. Like, why are you doing this? Like, who are you? Like, she's literally being grilled like she was in fucking court,
Yeah, they were
right?
taking like
They
were
set it up like that. Yeah.
taking her
Yeah, yeah,
identity away,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah, exactly.
Which was pretty
Gold star,
interesting.
by the way.
Gold star?
Yeah, if you're a gold star, that means haven't had sex with the other sex.
Crazy. I've never even
I'm
heard
Yeah.
a
that term
I'm a
before.
gold star.
You're a gold star.
Is that
Um,
applies for male and female?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, you can be a gold star gay man too if
Oh
you haven't
shit,
had
dude.
sex with a woman.
I've never heard this term before.
Yeah, I remember
um,
hearing it, but I forgot. But yeah, I just looked it up again.
Crazy. Okay.
so fuck, man. I mean, it is just it's a slog. Like I just feel like, and I just to like reaffirm my opinions too, like I looked at some reviews on the internet, and like it seems like most people think that this is like a big waste of time. Like it has like the look and the like notoriety of like like an indie staple of like that 90s era where it was like dialogue heavy and like festival circuit type films and artsy stuff.
It's that avant-garde type thing,
Yeah,
that's,
yeah,
Avant-garde,
it
yeah.
has that whole reputation,
guard. I always
but
say it wrong, but
most people who actually have watched the movie are like, yeah, this ain't it, dog. Like this isn't what it's being like claimed as.
it's
I
funny if
mean,
you want to
I'm
watch these type of
sure.
movies from this time period, you watch Clerks and you watch fucking, even Kids. I mean,
Yes.
it's funny
Um,
because I got Kids vibes from this because the way the dialogue was, it felt like it was done by non-actors.
yeah, like it's just like people talking, which
But the
I
difference
generally
between
like that stuff.
but the difference between Go Fish and Kids is that
Kids
the
is
characters in
interesting.
Kids are interesting and the scenarios is interesting. But
Right.
this
A-
really
And
segregates
I don't
itself into
think,
one mold where it's like they don't do anything to like really kind of expel the narrative and make anything more interesting besides this like, okay, is she gonna be down with this older, like that's all it is? Like
yeah,
there's nothing there.
and
There's no oomph
I
to it.
I don't feel like, I don't want it to get it twisted because I don't think that it's because it's about like lesbians. Like I don't think that's
Absolutely not.
the reason
No, absolutely
why
not.
it doesn't work. Like because
I'll
I
watch
was
gay shit all
actually
day. I don't
in
care.
I was actually interested in that aspect. And I do think that like to certain people this was at a time where like you just weren't seeing a lot of like
Yeah.
queer stuff on the screen.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
do imagine
This was
this was
very
like
taboo for
a
sure.
big
I
stepping
was gonna say
stone.
one thing that like is not aged well about this movie is because at the time, like I think this was like the attitude I think has drastically shifted in 30 years. I think at the time, like this was like even just like this little bit was taboo. And what was the other thing about it? It's just I think just the way this movie's like attitude takes towards like dating is kind of like not something that a lot of people like resonate with today as much.
Mm,
I would be interested to like hear the opinion of someone who this is like really the target audience for. But I
yeah.
feel like I could see this like movie being like kind of like a big deal at the time for like daring to like put
Yeah,
this stuff in a movie.
I think that it probably at the
Oh,
time
absolutely.
was a big stepping stone for like just the fact that you can make a movie, which there are others that came before this that were, you know,
Yeah, I actually like this is something I was like talking about before we started too is like I don't really like this wave most for the most part of these movies, and I was saying it really kind of started with Spike Lee's "She's Gotta Have It" from 1985, which I get was a big deal because like it was like in this type of movie, like it showed the kind of like similar sexual taboos, especially with black people and like black people like being like intimate, like that was like something that I guess at the time was like very like important and it definitely got like spike notice. But like I watched that movie with like I think pretty a reasonable like context for it, and I like I don't like that movie, and it kind of inspired a lot of like movies I think after that, and like oh, some of these movies got her. Like I think like the reason gets to that movie gets it right is because it's like about like real relatable people, and maybe like this is for a niche audience of
it's
relatable
also
people.
just the dialogue is good.
It's
Like
just the
that's the
dialogue's
problem with
good,
It's a
this
and
big
they're
film.
difference in filmmaking. Yeah.
yeah
This
the
film has is 90% dialogue, right?
and
If
like
not
Yeah.
95%
if there's
dialogue.
one thing like putting my snobby Criterion art house goggles on for a second, if I'm looking at that movie like for like those type of merits, there's some really cool editing in this movie that I really liked, but a lot of it to me kind of just seemed like doing it to do it, and it like I don't feel like oh I feel like it missed the mark a lot of the time, and it was just it kind of just felt like it was there to try to like be like elevated, and like while I did like those scenes like you were talking about like where they're like laying down like talking like we were saying like that's the like thing that's like good about Clerks, and I think if they would have just like had those scenes in a more natural setting like them like actually like hanging out and doing stuff like acting like regular people, I think that would have been better, and I think it would have added like a lot more texture to the movie. But like these scenes of these people just like laying down head to head in like these like big black rooms like kind of screamed to me like it was trying a little too hard, and I kind of like was like I kind of felt like what's
See
his
that
name?
that's where I felt like it felt more natural, I guess. Like that's something that I thought was a
I
nice
just
touch
feel like
because
nobody would ever like I get the aesthetic of it. I just feel like that's something like nobody ever would do.
I
And
feel
like it
like
would,
people do that though. That's why I liked it.
No, I
I
feel
don't
like
know.
everything
Like
was natural except for the acting. That
if
was the
you
problem
if
with me.
going back to like pre-cell phones, right? Where people like I remember like like teen girls just like laying on a trampoline, like heads like that, like just talking about boys or something. Like I just can see people doing that. In that era of time. But I kind of get what you're saying too, you know.
It's the execution
It's
in it, though,
definitely
man.
an artist like an artsy touch, but
Yeah.
yeah, it really comes down to for me to the dialogue. Like it's an extremely heavy dialogue film, and although there are some interesting topics that they touch on, like the like lesbian who has sex with a guy and like the ridicule she faces for that, and there's some topics of like uh you know butch versus not butch and like what that means in that community and stuff like that, and just the like sexual talk in general. The honeypot thing was interesting, but at the end of the day, like for a film that is 95% dialogue, the dialogue just wasn't there for me. It wasn't interesting enough. And not to say that the topics weren't interesting, it's just that the way that they could have had some more interesting topics, and the ones that they had that were interesting just weren't handled or tackled correctly. um for it felt very amateurish, but not in the way of like the indie film of the 90s where you like, because like at the end of the day, like stuff like Clerks, that's the prime example that everybody goes to. But like that movie's kind of amateurish too, but it's
Yeah.
just Kevin Smith had a really good beat on
It's about dialogue, man.
what people talked about. You know what I
I
mean?
think he captures just like even not even just that, like yes, the dialogue is like there's people quote that movie all day and like don't even it's just like a part of his vocabulary. Like
Mhm.
even just
You
that
can make the
aside,
most amateur film ever, but if it's written well,
yeah,
fuck,
like
man.
even from that
Like,
aside, it just like Clerks captures such like a relatable, like angsty, like slice of life of like being like be like with the whole just like the even like the black and white just incidentally works so well in that movie like about these
Mhm.
guys like at their job that they say
but
simultaneously
Clerks
love but hate like
it totally fucking resonates in the fact that like people may not say those things that are happening, but those things are like relatable to everybody in Clerks, right? So the dialogue that fucking spews out in that film is like everybody wants to say that shit, but
it's the
nobody really does.
scenario of Clerks that's like what people can like really like relate with too that
Right.
Mhm.
like even like if they like would never like talk like that from like even like it's not like the sentiment of like the film at its core of like being like stuck at work with like your friend but you ain't got shit else to do. Uh, so you might as well be there. I think it's just
They just
like,
feel they feel like real characters to me. Like in this
yeah,
movie right here, like we have this relationship between, kind of a cool lesbian and like this older kind of like fugly looking, woman or whatever. And like in
yeah,
reality, like, these two are never getting together. And the
yeah.
scenario is
I
they're getting
agree.
together. Like everyone's trying to put them together. But that's my main problem with the movie is like if you have two people that are so polar opposite, why would you have people trying to put them together, trying to make this thing happen? It doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, I'm sure it happens in reality, but like at the same time, you watch this on screen, it doesn't work.
That's where like I wonder like if that's like something like that's context I don't have about the lesbian
You could be right.
community.
I have no idea. Maybe
Because
we're
that's
missing
something I
something
thought
there,
of. Because
but
I have the same thought as you. Is like why? Like I think this movie kind of has like a weird attitude towards relationships, where it's
right.
literally about like trying to manipulate like two people who like are just like the only thing they have in common is that they're both lesbians.
Mhm.
Like to get like
Right.
together.
Right.
And also even the relationship that those two form, Max and Ellie, there's fucking nothing there. Like
Exactly.
there's no development. You know what I mean?
It's just like there. It's like a moderate. It's like a bit of because Ellie, like she's a.
It comes
like
across
Max,
as being
Max
crazy
is a
forced.
Max is like a rebound girl.
A what?
But it's crazy.
She's a rebounder if you really think about it.
Rebound, yeah.
Yeah,
But
she's just like a rebounder.
It's super forced though, right?
Yeah,
Because
just
this
like
relationship
it's a matter
was
of
developed.
convenience. Like people basically push them into this, and it's like okay.
Well,
Yeah.
you just don't see them. Like you don't see a lot of scenes where they're like getting to know each other and like
No, they hung out
A little
They hung
bit, and then
out
they
at
have this
twice.
scene after where like, oh, we did something, whatever, and it's like, well, fuck, man, like,
yeah,
I don't know, it's not done well, you know.
yeah, I agree. And I have a question for you guys that's been bugging me since we started the show that I have finally need to ask. So, are the words on my posters and like hat and stuff, are they backwards?
No,
No.
Okay, so they're just backwards to me.
Yeah.
But you guys see
Yeah.
them regular. So is
Yeah.
your like Moodz when you look at your hat, is it backwards for you?
no, I read it. It's because it's mirrored to me, or no, it's
Yeah,
not.
that's what I'm saying.
It's not
But
mirrored.
like my like when I look at my screen, everything, all the words are backwards. Like
Yeah,
they
the
live
way
up
I'm seeing
there
your
is-
shit, man, I can read. They live.
Yeah.
Your
Yeah,
hat says
okay.
Nightmare on Elm Street. Yeah, it's fine.
Okay, because yeah, yours says Phantasm, but on my screen, my stuff is all backwards.
Yeah, no, it's all good.
But anyway, yeah, Go Fish, fucking massive disappointment on that one. Like this fucking title makes me. This is like the worst cinematograph title for me. Like it's just like, dude, like we've already had our issues with the line, but that motherfucker is.
You know,
I feel
you know what's a hot
scammed.
take? Like,
What?
I think Going South is worse in this movie.
I didn't
No,
watch that one, but I would probably rather watch Going South.
Probably,
actually, that's
but
the one I have. That's one of. I think that might be the only one I haven't watched yet. But yeah, I haven't watched.
I
that
think
one.
I would rather watch this again than Going South. Going
Really
South,
that bad? Like
Going South is just like there's no. It's not like a good
Yeah.
plot. It just kind of it's not exciting. It's just like pointless and boring. At least this movie tried to do something. Like
Yeah.
somebody just like gave Jack Nicholson like money and like let him make a movie. Like Jack, I love Jack Nicholson as an actor, but he's directed like 3 movies and they're all dog shit.
You know what pisses me off? You know, like this movie, it definitely has potential.
Yeah. Like it's littered with potential. Like you could watch it and be like, this could have been awesome, but it just wasn't. I gave it a 4 out of 10. I think
You know,
most gave
the
it
people
a
are just
3
going to be
later.
like, "Oh, you guys hate lesbians." I'm like, no, it has nothing to
No,
do
I
with
was
the
very
content
much looking
of gay
forward.
sex. It has nothing to do with that. It's like, I mean, we got gay friends that are awesome, and we understand.
And
this
I,
shit.
I like plenty of gay centric movies.
Absolutely, but
And
it's
it didn't come
completely
with the
the
sub either. Like you bought this with your own money. It's
I
not like
know.
you bought it because you're interested.
Yeah, exactly. Good point, Tony. Good fucking point.
I just bought the whole package, which it came with the whole package. So
Yeah.
but-
I thought like just from the like description of it, it sounded really cool to me. You know what I mean? But yeah,
it did. And I mean, right away, I was like, oh, it's shot in fucking 4:3. It's in black and white. I'm like, oh, I'm getting some fucking Clerks. And like, I was getting Clerks vibes. I was getting fucking, even like I said, kids vibes. Like, it has that kind of like reality
Aesthetic,
type feel,
yeah.
aesthetic to it. And like, but the thing is, like I said, you know, with Clerks and kids, I'll just use those examples. We could use other ones too, but like, they have interesting characters. That's one of the problems with this film is like nobody's interesting.
Everyone's like personality.
It's
in this movie
really
is, like,
bland.
And I think there's like too many people too.
There's a lot
Way
of
too many people.
yeah.
Way too many
I'm
people.
like, who the fuck are you?
Everyone's personality in this movie is I'm a lesbian. Like nobody's
Yeah.
unique. Nobody has interests. Like
Yeah.
they have jobs and they're gay, and that's it. Like there's nothing else about them.
Yeah. But I gave it a 4 out of 10. I know Moodz gave it like a fucking 2 or something.
I gave it a 2 out of 10. Yeah, I thought it was terrible, like absolutely terrible. I was bummed out by this. I was like, oh, this is gonna be a little artsy. It's gonna be fun and shit. I'm like, no.
This might be like the only movie, like one of the very few movies that I have in my collection that I like don't even want. Like
I literally
like,
said to myself
Dude,
after, I'm like, Is there a
I don't
market
think
to
it,
sell
like-
this? Because I want to sell this right
Like,
now.
I don't
And
think
I never
honestly-
sell anything. I never sell anything.
It's honestly funny because I kind of feel the same way about Going South, where it's like I have worse movies in my collection. Like I'm not saying that, but it's like
But even some of
this
my
is
worst
expen-
movies, I could see myself possibly watching them again under
it's
sense.
I would never
Like I can never see myself ever watching this again.
yeah,
Exactly. Me too.
I would never watch
Like
Going
this
South
movie.
again.
Like look at this edition for this.
That's what I mean. Like I feel like
What is this?
Dude, this
I'm not
movie-
gonna collect the whole.
Somebody who works at Vinegar Syndrome saw this in 1994 and fucking loved it. That's what happened with this.
Well, like it just makes you feel like they bought like a big like lot of like rights for like movies.
Well, I mean, this is
from these
MGM.
studios. Yeah,
This
like
is
they
fucking
bought-
MGM, dude. It's crazy.
I feel like they got like they just bought like a lot and they were like combing through them and they're just like, oh, this could work in this line, and yeah.
Yeah, man. The cinematograph line from start to finish has been so fucking
The thing
weird.
about like what I don't like about some of these titles is like it's kind of bullshit how you're gonna say like they're auteur movies, like they're under like known like movies like from auteurs. Like Jack Nicholson is not a fucking auteur. He's an actor that like was famous enough that got to make some movies. Like this is like some girl that like made a movie, like, did not really like make movies. It, it's just like it doesn't feel
Is
like
that what
it's in
is that
line.
what they're saying the line is though?
Yeah, it was like it's like it said like underappreciated movies of like American auteurs from like the 70s or to 90s, I think is like what the line said.
I
Like,
thought
it
it was more about like studio shit.
Yeah, like from like studio movies. Like, let me pull it up.
No, it's
Auteur-
films that don't fit into any categories and stuff like that. Like
Yeah, auteur-driven studio flicks.
Yeah.
From the
Yeah,
60s
like that's
to
what
the
I
90s.
mean. Like she's not a fucking auteur. Jack Nicholson's not an auteur.
What is it? What is it actually? What is an auteur?
I think
Or
it's
an
films
auteur
that don't
is
fit
like-
into categories. Like
No, an auteur is like is like a director that has like an established like sense of like unique style. Like like when you see an Abel Ferrara movie, you like
Well, I feel like this chick has a unique style.
Yeah, like Rob Zombie.
no, but like she doesn't have like she made one movie though. You know what I mean? Like she didn't.
No,
she
she
doesn't
made
have-
other shit, dude. She's like a pretty like prominent lesbian
Wait.
filmmaker.
Let me pull this woman up.
Look at Tyler.
Like she's
selling this
done
poor woman
like
short.
the L word and shit.
The L word. Listen to you, Tyler.
The
The L word is huge.
She made 3 movies. Well, four movies.
Yeah, and she's a TV producer.
Yes, auteur. just think,
Exactly,
like-
an auteur.
Like I think like if you like Robert Altman's like Robert Altman, like what's it Abel Ferrara, Paul Schrader,
Yeah.
John Dahl, like these are good picks. Like I'm not gonna argue any of those. This is like that all makes sense. But like this is kind of like wasn't J. Lee Thompson even the one on that like stupid Breakheart or like Last Embrace movie? It was
Mhm.
someone like him. It was like one
It
of
was
those.
Jonathan Demme.
Yeah, it's like Jonathan Demme. Yeah, even that's a great example. Like these are like actual like studio.
What about
directors.
William Castle?
William Castle's a good example.
For sure.
Yeah, William Castle's cool. He fits in. Like he's got William Castle when you see he's a good
Yeah.
working man's director.
John Carpenter.
John Carpenter.
This is
What John Carpenter
Eli-
movie would you have in it?
In what?
What John Carpenter movie could fit into this line?
this was
Cinematograph?
William Castle's last film apparently.
Elvis?
man, you already
Yeah.
got your fucking package, bro.
Yeah, I got it a couple days ago.
Mine
I didn't
hasn't even
notice
shipped
when
yet,
we were
bro.
picking. Yeah, mine hasn't
Hasn't
picked
even
yet.
shipped yet.
When we were like picking movies, I was like,
$5.95, bros. $5.95. I'll take a loss on this.
A ghost dance.
I'll take a loss.
What did I pick?
Mm.
I forgot. what it's called.
Motherfucker. Fucking Tony got his too. I'm so
picked-
excited to watch the ghost dance and actually be able to see it properly.
Oh, dude, fucking tell me about it. I'm more excited to watch this and actually be able to fucking see it than maybe anything I've ever seen in my life. Like, there's so many night scenes that are literally pitch fucking black on VHS.
Oh, I know. It's so bad. Every transfer I've ever seen of that man has been unwatchable. Like,
Right.
I think there's two movies that I think about when I think of like can't see shit and then got a good transfer and changed the game. Well, maybe not change the game,
Drive-In
but
Massacre.
that's
Drive-In
one.
Massacre
That's
for
actually one
sure.
I wasn't thinking of, but that's one. Terror at 10 Killer is another one,
Yeah,
For sure.
and definitely Legend of Boggy Creek.
yeah.
For sure. Another one that people don't talk about, but really was like a pure like rescue job was The Mutilator. Like when Arrow first put that Blu-ray out, like the Mutilator VHS looks like absolute fucking garbage.
Hmm.
And now that movie is beloved.
Yeah, that
So-
movie has become like very popular.
So I don't know if you guys ever watched the marathon that me and Dylan did years. Well, one of them, but
Yeah, I
one of the
watched
very
them.
one of the very first films that I think it might even been the first one, man, was The Mutilator. It was an old, I think, German DVD release, and the transfer wasn't bad on it. But when the Blu-ray came out from Arrow, I was like, holy fuck, this is like a totally different fucking movie, man. It was
Right.
amazing. It just looked so good, and it sounded so. Oh, I was like, holy shit, dude! I fell in love with that movie so much because, like, we were just gonna have a good time. Oh yeah, man.
That's
Right.
all
It sounded
that's
so
what I always
good.
remember about that movie.
Yeah,
Like that
Wait,
movie has
what-
legitimately become a favorite
Yeah, it
just
has.
because of that Blu-ray.
Mhm.
yeah, it's really, really good, man. Really good.
Let's move on to the last boring movie of the night.
All right, man. So let's get into the featured review here on episode 10. I'm so used to saying triple digits here. Episode 10 of the Sin podcast. All right, guys. So we're going to get into a film from 1979, and this is on Vinegar Syndrome's
Labs.
Labs line. So this is number 12 in their line.
Which I think is also supposed to be like studio shit that fell between the cracks.
I think so too, yeah. Yeah.
What was the no, I think it's just like that's the one where like we don't know where to put this thing because
It's all over the fucking place, dude.
That's
Yeah, 'cause-
exactly what that line is for.
Yeah,
It's for
'cause
the
that
shit
one-
that doesn't fit anywhere else.
yeah, because that's there was 5 Card Stud.
All the
Oh.
Polish movies.
Yeah, the Polish movie that I reviewed, the interrogation one.
The
This is
black
a
and
lot.
white films.
Flesh for
Flesh and
Fantasy.
Fantasy.
What
It's
was
definitely
that?
hit and
The
miss.
first one was like the curse of some shit. The Cat Creeps, Satanic or the
Guest House
Guest
Paradiso.
House Paradiso.
That's a fucking fun ass film, though. That was a good one.
Dude, for real.
The Kinski one.
Dude, I think that might even be the best film on the line. I swear to God, dude. I had such a blast with that one.
I bought
really
that
like
for the
Flesh
Labor
for
Day sale.
Fantasy.
So good, man. It's fucking fun as hell.
Yeah, that Guest House Paradiso really fucking surprised me. I was laughing
Yeah.
my ass off the entire time.
I never even I didn't know anything about it, man. I was
Right.
pissing myself, dude. It was so good.
Oh,
And
yeah,
Simon
the-
Pegg's first movie, like it's cool just for that too.
Right. But yeah, so 1979's Bloodline. This is Sidney Sheldon's Bloodline, directed by Terrence Young. And I didn't really know much about this movie going into it, but I do know Terrence Young because Terrence Young is actually responsible for 3 movies I love. I'm a huge Bond dork, right? So
Yeah.
he directed Dr. No, From Russia with Love, and of course Thunderball, the first 3 Bond films.
He's also
And-
responsible for a movie I am a big fan of. Wait Until Dark.
Dark.
Yes.
Oh yeah, okay. So that's one I haven't seen.
It's
but
a
it's
great
It's
movie.
phenomenal. I Patreon that like years ago.
For me. And I
Oh,
watched it.
That's what I'll do.
You
Yeah,
haven't
it's a
seen that,
movie.
Moods?
No, I've never seen it, man.
Yeah, you
Warner-
really have to check
Warner
that one out.
Archive released it. It's honestly, I loved it. So
Yeah,
But it's
that's why-
interesting. It's interesting because he's also responsible for doing Cold Sweat, Red Sun, and Valachi Papers, which, Bronson is one of my all-time favorites. So
Yeah, he's a respectable director. I'm surprised this wasn't the cinematograph.
yeah.
This is definitely a studio movie.
Yeah, I honestly am
This
kind
honestly would, yeah, like this would
yeah,
have been.
like This could have easily fit in that line.
Yeah, like I saw that. I was like, oh shit, man.
You could have
this is gonna be good. I'm like, fuck.
You could have easily swapped this and Go Fish and it would make way more sense.
Probably.
Right.
Oh Lord, man.
Synopsis on this one. I'll read it out. When her father is murdered, a pharmaceutical Harris becomes the next target of an unknown killer amid the international jet set. That's a stupid fucking synopsis. I'm not reading the other one because it's like fucking 14 lines, but
it's
whatever.
basically about
really
a fucking
long-winded
woman whose dad is this big pharmaceutical fucking tycoon guy who gets fucking killed, and then she inherits this fucking business, and all of the fucking board members are like, we fucking want to go public, and then they're like, she's like, oh, but I might want to actually run this bitch because I'm feeling weird about my dad's death, and then they try to kill her, and it's stupid.
Well, I mean, and
then there's 15 minutes of some sort of murder plot.
Yeah, like
this movie,
some sort of snuff film plot that's sprinkled in for literally no reason.
I was actually wondering, like, was there more of this in the TV version? Like, yeah, like I don't even understand like what the snuff plot even was. Like, what do you,
dude? Am I not the only one? Did I miss something in the snuff plot? Because it never played into what the reveal was at all.
You had two little scenes, which are the worst strangulation scenes you will ever see.
In my notes, I said I never realized that people died that quick from that.
I thought they were just making like fake videos.
They were making
because it was so bad. I thought they were just trying to take a shot now. Make this video. We're making a fucking art film. Like, I thought that's what they were doing because of how bad they were. And then they finally show the video at the end, and it's actually like a good strangulation. And I'm just like, what the fuck?
Dude, you know what's so fucked up about this movie, man? Is that it has so many amazing classic actors in it.
Dude, I said this like on my
directed by somebody that is a good director.
This has the ensemble cast like that, like Altman or like PTA would have a wet dream of like the best like 50s and 60s stars and rising 70s stars. Oh my god, I can't believe they fucked it up. So Ennio Morricone, the score, how did you fuck this up?
And apparently the book is like super world renowned too. It's like apparently like Paramount paid like massive amounts to like option this book.
They have like two like international like the cousins, like they had Romy Schneider, like they had like international superstars in this movie.
You got Audrey Hepburn, who just came back to Hollywood looking really bad in this movie, to be honest, man. Like she looked like she was dying. It was bad. Big Azar's in the film. James Mason. I mean, come on, man. I mean,
I love James Mason.
Yeah, James Mason. God. Totally underutilized in the film, like in my opinion. Insane.
James Mason has become like one of my favorite like character actors.
Michelle Phillips, you recognize her from lots of films, but I mean the cast goes on and on in this film, and like all these people that have been in so many films that we fucking love, and I'm like, okay, we have this great cast, and it focuses on none of them. Like, dude, I don't even know where to start with this movie, man. Like,
there's just so much random shit. Like, in the beginning of the movie, there's like flashbacks of her father when he was a kid, and I'm just like, what the fuck am I watching? The Godfather Part 2?
I actually really like that part.
I hated it. I'm like, this is such a waste of time. The dude's fucking dead. Who cares?
Well, yeah, they're trying to bring a little bit of like whatever to her story, but
yeah, she was telling the story of how the company started, and like it was calm, and like that was, you're supposed to like kind of get behind her, like she's of like wants to like continue on this like these like family values and like keep this like family company going, and like I think it was supposed to like kind of grip you like that, and it was like it was like because she was walking around the town, like that's why she went to the town, so. I kind of like it. I honestly like. I'm not gonna lie. Like I was pretty much with this movie through most of it, but like starting probably around the halfway mark when like the wheels really started to fall off, and like I just like, okay, there's a flaw I'm gonna ignore. It's whatever. There's a flaw I'm gonna
really
ignore.
Halfway through it took you that long.
The movie made a fool. Like, well, I thought like the first half hour was great because it does this really fucking great thing, and then like it made me like think of like a Hitchcock movie, and I was even like, yes, this is now we're moving. So they have this like scene where like after she has like that flashback and you learn like they want to sell, and she's like, well, I'm gonna like before I just sign this shit, I'm gonna like try to understand like what it actually says and like what like me signing this is gonna do. And so yeah, she goes so I thought the build up to like that like boardroom meeting where like where she then was going to tell him like I've decided not to go public, and like you have this great frame shot, all the people there, and then the detective walks in and holding the rope with Audrey right in the middle when she says I'm not selling, and it just like it just off like to like this is like okay, now it's a who done it because this rope is telling you all this is a murder. And I thought that was like such a good setup. I was like, you could have convinced me like Hitchcock made like a movie like at the end of his career. Like this was one of like your last Hitchcock movies. Like it's not great, but he made another movie, whatever. Like I thought it was gonna be that quality movie. And I was pretty into it, but this movie made a fool out of me in the last half. It just like kept just like putting its eye off the ball. It just like she's like so obvious, like they're immediately just trying to kill her. It's so obvious, and like she's just doing nothing to like avoid like getting killed.
But the stupidest thing about them trying to offer is like, who the fuck is going to benefit from her death? Because who's going to take over this shit? Because they want. I mean, there's a point.
If she dies, the complete control will go to the cousins, like the Europeans.
Do they actually say that in the film?
Yes. Romy Schneider says that. She's like, I'm wait, like she like when she's talking to her husband, is that red herrings. They want you to think that like her husband.
But that doesn't make any sense because
they want you to think that they're the ones killing it, and she's saying like it would be great if that happened because.
But it's so obvious then if the rights go to the cousins, then it's so obvious who's trying to fucking kill her.
But the cousins weren't trying to kill her.
Exactly.
It's a red herring. The cousins weren't trying to kill her. They want you to think that. It's a red herring. Just like the whole thing with Ben Garazza was a red herring. They wanted you to think Ben Garazza was the killer.
Yeah, true.
But like the problem with the movie is like it starts just getting like away from this like build up it had, and nothing fucking happens. Like it just like they try to kill her, she survives trying to be killed. She acts dumb, like there's like a twist, like she finds out a twist here, like then there's like they waste time with the whole like Ben Garazza storyline and like finding out he's lying. I guess they're trying to build a red herring, but it just like wasn't that good. And I started to feel like when it was like doing too much of that, like it was starting to like really like have pacing issues, and I was starting to be like, okay, let's wrap this up. And then it was putting in like the little strangler thing that like has like barely like I don't even know like what you were trying to show like tell me with that. Like you wanted to put a little.
That's the one thing about the film I don't understand, because they threw in this thing and I'm like, so who was responsible for and how was it connected? Like I don't really get what that was.
The connection like all right, well, nobody don't buy this fucking movie, so we're just gonna spoil it. James Mason was the killer. James Mason was the killer, and like he was the one in charge of the snuff films, and like you were supposed to find that out by when he gets shot at the end. First off, if you shoot someone through the back like that, it's gonna go through the front, and Audrey Hepburn would have gotten the fucking bullet too. So that was stupid. But like you see the little ribbon in his hand, and then like basically, okay, so James Mason was in charge of this. Like, but it's like it's so inconclusive. It's like, what do these things even mean? What are you trying to tell us? And then it just like the movie just like ends. Like, and there's nothing from there. You
get some like, dumbass fucking like romantic embrace, and then
it's like even the romance. I thought they were good because I was like watching. It's like, dude, you got Audrey Hepburn in your movie. You got Roman fucking Holiday in your movie. Like Breakfast at Tiffany's. You got to do the Audrey Hepburn romance angle. That's what you pay this woman for. So, like, I even thought that stuff was good. But, man, that ending was just, like, I literally said, that's it? Like, no, you didn't. No. It was so bad. It just, like, the pacing issue. The movie started to fall apart. It started pacing issues, and the third act was just so disappointing that it's just like, man, dude, like, you made a fucking fool out of me. Like, this movie has great cinematography. Like, it has great...
it looks great.
The score is incredible. The sets are good.
I actually think it's Imoni Morricone's like worst scores I've ever heard.
Well,
man, to be honest. I don't think it's good. I don't think it's good.
But what made me laugh about it is like clearly he was like, okay, I'll make you a score, and he definitely took like most of the notes from Once Upon a Time in the West and just kind of like reworks it
No,
because I kept laughing because I'm
this movie
listening
is
to
a
this.
fucking slog, dude. I mean, it's like ridiculous red herrings. It's so bad, dude. Like, who the fuck wrote the fucking, the script for this film, man? It drives me fucking nuts, man.
Well, it makes me wonder like what the TV cut looks like because they probably could have like made it look less dumb with like a half hour more of context in there. But it's like, do I actually want that? Not really.
Man, one of the best things about this movie, man, is that the fact that it was shot in Germany and they got fucking Gert Faber to fucking play the detective who is like the dude. He's fucking Goldfinger from the Bond films.
Isn't that funny that they got Goldfinger in the movie directed by the guy who directed a million Bond movies, but not Goldfinger?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But that kind of makes sense. And like right away, I was like, oh, dude, I fucking love this because he's Goldfinger, man. It's fucking great, man. It's a fucking great film.
He was my favorite part about the movie.
Exactly. Like, I mean, to be honest,
his fucking robots. Like, I thought that was just like
the whole
that was literally the only time.
This is 1979, and they had like it felt like they had internet. Like
he had like internet. Fucking Alexa, like giving him like the fucking weather of the day. It was crazy.
It's ridiculous,
dude. Fuck this movie, man.
It is honestly so.
I was so fucking bored, dude.
I will say that
I had to rewind it like 30 times, dude.
I mean, Ben Gazzara is good in the film, and I get the red herrings and stuff like that, but like, dude,
the majority of this movie is literally about a fucking boardroom discussing the fucking future of a company that I don't give a fuck about because it's pharmaceutical anyway, which are all fucking scumbags.
Yeah, these are all rich assholes.
Yeah, they're all
like scumbags. I'm with you. Like it's all just
the only non-scumbag.
All right, like I'm with you, JP. It's like literally nothing fucking happens that I even care.
Nothing happens in this. And explain the.
I thought it had a really good setup for
the snuff films.
Shut up, Tyler. No, it didn't.
What the fuck is the point of the snuff films? They throw that thrilling.
That's awful. That's what I mean. This movie made a fool out of me because then it started putting shit like that in the movie that had nothing to do with the rest of the movie. Like
exactly. Like what is the point? They throw this thrilling.
That's selling the movie too.
Like that's what they had such a good setup to have a whodunit. Like it just like became a completely different movie.
Dude, you were exaggerating so heavy. It didn't have like a.
You're making it not. You had a room full of 6 people that all had the reason to kill someone. Then you found out her father was murdered. It could have.
Yeah, that's not a super good setup. That's like a normal.
It is. You have 6 people. You have 6 people.
But that's just like That's a normal setup, bro. That's not like
that's fucking normal.
They had that setup with this cast. Like this.
So what you should be saying is like they have a
the whole relationships in this film too.
That's what I mean. They fucked it up. Like
it should be a fucking home run.
The whole relationships and blackmail and shit in this film, man, is just it adds to the point where it makes it even more fucking boring.
The second half.
Yeah, dude. Like
I will say though, I wasn't bored and like I like kind of like enjoyed my time. I was just very disappointed.
The movie peaked in 5 minutes. Because in the first 5 minutes there was a pretty sweet dummy death, and I'm like, all right, here we go.
I was like starting out with the dummy death. All right, buddy.
And it literally just went down from there.
Dude, the Hepburn fucking Garzaria relationship is horrible.
Oh yeah, it's awful. There's no development. It's just there. It's like by convenience. It's so stupid.
They literally got married. I'm like, wait, they got fucking married?
That's what I'm saying.
When did that happen?
It's fucking awful.
They did that legally because if they did that legally, it wasn't like a marriage for love.
This movie is like all red herrings. It's all set up to be just this but they throw in this weird aspect with the fucking snuff shield that doesn't make any fucking. It doesn't make a lick of fucking sense. That was like the most
puzzling part. That's not like I'm wondering what is in like that 30 minutes like in the TV cut. I'm not going and finding out, but like
no, I'm not fucking doing this either, man. It's
like
I'd rather read the book.
I just feel
the part about it too is like they shove sickly James Mason back into the movie like right at the end just to like one more time be like
just to fucking shoot his ass. I felt so bad for him.
It's Ben Gazzara. That's who it is to try to trick you, and then it's him. Like who is this guy gonna like? Who is this guy a threat to? Like, I don't buy that. I'm not buying this shit.
I'm sorry, I had no choice.
Yeah,
man.
This is actually one of the most boring, shitty films I've watched in a long time.
I really didn't find this movie
Tyler,
boring, though.
dude.
I really didn't find this movie boring. I'm not gonna lie.
Audrey Hepburn honestly looks so bad in this movie, dude. Like, it looked like she was gonna break at any moment. If somebody yelled at her, I was afraid that her ribs were gonna break.
Yeah, she was 50 going on 70 in that.
Oh my God, she looked so frail. I think she might have had an eating disorder at the time. I'm pretty sure she did. I don't know. I didn't look it up, but
she's always been, or she always was, real thin.
But she looked frail here, though. Like,
she looked a lot older than her late 40s.
Yeah, it's fucked up, man.
Yeah, she aged really fast.
Really bad, man.
From like 1970 to like the end. Like,
she
it was rapid.
Yeah. Yeah, fuck. I don't even know what to say. I mean, I feel like nothing really happened in this movie except for a bunch of fucking bullshit dialogue that nobody cares about. I mean, the deaths or the attempts on Audrey Hepburn's life are terrible. The Jeep accident,
it's just like it's puzzling
the
Cinemobile.
The shitty ass fucking elevator scene. Oh my God, it's shot so bad. It's so bad and like
that made no sense.
Like, what the fuck, man?
It's to me though. Like, how many like attempts are made on her life, and she's just like so like casual about it.
It's so crazy how this movie can be 2 hours long and have such shitty development towards the reveal.
The reveal was so bad.
It's fucked up to me, man. It's so fucked up.
Like it was there, and then like even the ending after the reveal was like, that's it.
At this point, it was so unpredictable. It was like, I have no fucking idea.
No one could predict this movie because they don't give you any way to predict it.
Nothing. All the characters are in and out. There's too much cheating. There's so much fucking blackmailing. There's all this
bullshit. They basically all. This is the issue with like because
I've seen slasher films with 100% less red herrings in this bullshit.
That's what I mean. They didn't like have this like fucking like strong armed like kind of like duo thing that like Audrey had with Ben with his half-ass relationship. Like, you could have used that runtime instead and took these 6 unique characters that are like all fucking like drowning in debt and have a reason to kill her, and like actually develop like a reason, like a way where you could suspect them for like all good reason and have like some sort of explosive reveal, and it just like chose to not do that.
I feel like they had
too much time. They should have spent less time trying to fucking kill Audrey and making her look stupid for just like casually walking around, and then like trying to just like spend this time like with her and Ben Garazza together. I don't know, man. Like they could have done a lot of things better. It's like I'm kind of in a weird spot with it where like despite all this stuff, like I didn't like hate this movie. I didn't think it was boring. Like kind of like enjoyed it for what it was, but like I could never like say like this is a good movie. I'd recommend you watch this.
I just feel like this cast, man, ruined the script. They have so many big fucking names in this, and they can't utilize shit. Like, why the fuck would you like? It's like they couldn't fucking do the movie they wanted to do because they had such a fucking promising cast. They just overdid it.
It feels to me like a studio.
It's weird to me, like.
It feels like they tried to do one thing. There's probably production issues. It was probably a mess, and some executives said, "Let's fucking see what we can do here. Let's try to make a romance movie with Audrey Hepburn, and we'll put in this." Like,
I actually read earlier that this is considered to be Audrey Hepburn's worst movie she ever did.
Oh, there's no way. There's one. I mean,
I don't know. I haven't seen all of her movies, but I'm just saying.
I've only seen a handful of Audrey Hepburn movies, but clearly, you know, I'm gonna watch the good movies. Like
it's probably due to the fact that this was theatrical, shitty. It's all that mainstream bullshit.
Yeah,
but I'm just saying,
it feels like a hacked up studio movie because like. I know you.
I just feel the script is horrible. I feel like the script is horrible. I still cannot wrap my fucking head around the snuff angle. And like
the snuff angle is just like it's there to like I don't understand the purpose it serves. I don't know what you were trying to communicate other than like Nick what's his James Mason was involved like with like I don't like understand like what it was like,
why
like, he's even saying
it's like what you're in debt, okay, like what are we doing here?
It doesn't even I don't understand like what they were trying to communicate like as part of the film, and I'm part of like the mystery or anything with like the stranglings.
Yeah, like, bad adaptation.
Yeah,
like I'm sure the book is a lot better.
There's probably like you don't even know who's doing the stranglings. I can't imagine it's fucking James Mason.
That's
Like,
what I was assuming. He's the one who pulled out the ribbon.
That's why
at the end of the movie.
That guy couldn't strangle anyone. Maybe.
Yeah, but look at the strangulation.
But they show the dude.
Like, yeah, they're.
It's not James Mason.
Yeah,
really?
I felt like it just meant like he was involved, like he was responsible for those happening. He was probably like selling those, or like he was like getting those made for him.
He just pulls out the ribbon. He's
I
like,
don't understand.
"Guess what? It's me."
Yeah, like it's just like I don't understand like what that has to do with like you guys trying to like kill her. So the like who's trying to kill her? So like you can all have like your joint interest of making the company go public. Like I don't understand what this has to do with fucking and literally anything.
Yeah, and that's the other thing, man. Like, even like who the actual cousins were was super unclear in the film too. It's like everyone's married into fucking everybody and fucking blah blah blah. I'm like, oh fuck. Whatever.
The cousin was Romy Schneider, and then the husband was married into her. So that's why, like, if she died, Romy Schneider would get complete control.
Yeah, which is a fucking huge red herring because she obviously was the fucking. She was a bitch, but.
They're all bitches. They're rich scumbags.
Tyler, stop trying to act like you like this.
She was a bitch in the film, and
I
she acted like she.
I mean,
obviously the red herrings are so strong. Like, I mean, she's not responsible for that shit because it's ridiculous.
It's okay, Tyler. You picked a bad movie. It's not a big deal.
I said it was a bad movie. I can't like get some enjoyment out of it.
Yeah, that does mean you can't. I refuse to let you get.
Dude, I give movies like I'll give.
If I can't enjoy it, you're not allowed to enjoy it.
I enjoy everything. You movies like
honestly, like I said, the only good thing about this movie is Ben Gazzara. I think he's a really great actor, and Gert Forbe, the dude that plays Goldfinger, they're the highlights of the film. Like they're both really legit good. I feel like everyone else is calling in their shit. It's whatever. I don't know. What a fucking waste! This movie's a fucking. This is abomination, dude. It
sounded like Once Upon a Time in the West to me, and that kept making me laugh. They'd just be walking through like wherever they were from, and then I'd just be like, "Woo!" and I'd just fucking start like laughing.
I was getting so mad, like during like the footage of all like the factory shit with all the pharmaceuticals being made with all this goofy ass fucking Morricone music. I'm just like.
It's
God, can't we just fucking move along, please?
Dude, like he called that shit in like a motherfucker. He just played some keys while he was all high on fucking something. And he's like, "Fuck this, man." He took
the B-sides from Once Upon a Time in the West and like remixed them. And was like, "Here you go," and it just
everybody
kept making me laugh. Like I'm pretty sure, like after I watched this, like when I went to bed, I like put on my headphones and I started like listening to like the soundtrack to like Once Upon a Time in the West and just was like giggling to myself.
And probably jerked off 4 times.
Dude, I listen. I watched Go Fish last night, and I was like, because I didn't know if I was gonna have time to even do the show, right? Like I watched Go Fish. I was like, fuck. Like then I pop in this thing. I'm like, this is the worst fucking day of my life.
Yeah, you watched the two wrong movies. You should have watched Flesh Freaks and Asylum of Terror.
Yeah, and also with just the fact that like the death in my family, I was just like, this is
I was just gonna say that.
I was like, I'm beating Tyler up next time I see him. And Go Fish wasn't even his fault, but I'm blaming him anyway.
I didn't like everyone think I was gonna pick Go Fish. I was like, I'm not touching that movie.
No, actually, we were gonna do Howling 2, but then we did it. It said we did it on 22 shots, which I'm not a huge fan of Howling 2 anyway. So whoever decided that,
I just wanted to watch the 4K because I heard it looked great. Like
I was
really
just gonna
great.
watch the.
But did you guys do that like fucking 10 years ago? Like, wasn't that like really old?
Howling
franchise.
The Howling franchise is probably
2014,
probably pushing 10 years now. Yeah.
2014 or 15, I would say.
I know. I always forget how long we've been doing the show for.
That was the Kyle era. So it would have been Jeremy left on episode, I think, like
67 or something.
60 something. So it was probably shortly after that because that's when Kyle came in.
According to fucking Lucas Twat, we kicked him out then too. So.
Who? Kyle?
Jeremy.
We did.
The first time?
Yeah.
No, but like I mean he doesn't understand the the reasons. Like we just kicked him off the fucking show.
Yeah, we did.
There was reasons.
Of course. Why would you kick someone off with no reasons?
Well, that's what Twat is always saying. He's like, "Oh, you guys fucking went all peace." I saw that shit the other day.
Like,
I
you see that shit?
Oh
my god!
It's because
we kicked Jeremy off the show for no reason. We went all PC, and I'm like, "Oh, you're a fucking loser, man."
That was like there's way more than just that. Like,
nobody understands the behind the scenes. I'm not getting into it, but it is what it is.
I said I was like, it's no one's business about the people involved. But
Yeah.
there's way
No,
more.
no
There's
idea.
like
I mean,
way
I'm
more
not-
reasons. Like he's not on the show because of anything other than things he just like something he just said.
right. Yeah.
All right, do we want to do some ratings on Bloodline?
Sure.
Yes.
Tyler, you go first since you're the one that's sucking the fucking Bloodline cock here.
5.
I told you he was gonna give a fucking 5.
It's 5. Like I honestly I don't hate this movie, but it's not a good movie, and I never like tell someone to watch it. I would say like, hey,
You
like,
already
I
did. You
watched
told
this-
3 of us to watch it, you fuck.
We collectively agreed. All I said was like, given the choices of these, I would pick this movie.
I did
And then-
not agree to this shit. I
How
got
did this
overruled by
this-
majority again because I wanted
This-
to do Crucible of Terror, which would have been fine for this.
This got voted.
I got
3-1.
overruled by Tyler, so
How did you get overruled? I mean, you voted for this movie.
I didn't vote for that.
I'm
Yes, you
like
did.
I'm like the swing
proof.
vote. I'm so
This was-
easily
go look back.
persuaded.
It was 3-1. Like we literally had a poll. Like we wanna
Tony
watch
definitely
this.
voted for this. I'm
Show-
like, fuck.
show-
Oh, yeah.
Show proof.
This got
bro.
voted for 3-1. Just scroll up like a
Remember?
month.
I was
from
the
my
first one to
memory,
mention.
From my memory, Tyler voted for it and nobody else voted for it
Then how did it become the title? All I said was like, I'll watch whatever.
because we let you pick.
No, that's not
Alright,
what
well,
happened. We literally voted on this. And
I
then it
do
got
like
3-1.
that is an interesting idea. Like we each have like a revolving pick. Like next time somebody else picks the main review.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought of that, but I almost like I like the idea of taking like something that is like like not necessarily
kinda
most
like
popular
the-
every time, but like just sort of mixing it up a bit. But I don't know. Maybe we try that for season 2.
Maybe if we
It
all
all
have the
depends.
idea
Like,
for that, then it'll be
sometimes-
fine.
Sometimes there's a slam dunk.
Right.
Yeah, let's we could try something like that in season 2.
Yeah.
But I think what we need to do for season 2 is have a draft order that switches every episode. So like Moodz gets to pick first on the first.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Next
Yeah,
one.
Yeah.
great idea.
Because me
Then
and
he-
Tony are nerds, and we're there at noon, like, oh, Jam's on this.
I know, like you guys are fun. I try to get there early, and you guys beat me every time.
We're there at noon. We're like,
But
we're waiting for. We're hitting that.
I think we
fresh
should
line.
have a draft order that rotates each
the
time.
waiver wire.
That way,
So for
I'm down for a
January, I just picked the main review, and that's
no,
that's what it is.
like our personal picks. So like we can't pick anything until you pick something, and then
So
Oh,
basically,
like
you
a
get
rotate,
first
like a-
dibs.
Tony,
You
then,
get first pick,
then
and then
Tyler, and then it rotates. The next week it'll be me first, Tony, Tyler, and then Moodz last, and then the week after that Tony first, Tyler, Moodz last, or Moodz then me last. You know, so it's just like more fair in a way.
You mean monthly, not weekly.
Yeah, like every episode, you know, switches what order you get to
Right.
pick the title in.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
Mhm.
Cool.
I like that.
Yeah, me too. Release of the week. Oh wait, did we finish rating it? No.
Tyler gave
Eight out of
5.
five.
Tyler's
I-
the only one who rated it.
Yeah,
Okay.
We started with the peak.
Tony, what do you give it?
I don't hate this movie. I don't like it. Like it is pretty to look at, but it's not good. 4. I think 4 is fair.
I got a 2, man. This is horrendous.
Yeah.
Wasted fucking talent in this film, big time. Love the director. The only good thing, man, is fucking Goldfinger, man. For me, like the real standout thing, man. He's cool. He's cool in the film. So
Yeah, they just phoned it in. Like everybody phoned this one in.
this is a terrible movie, man. I'm sorry. It's fine. It's a big production, whatever, but it's bad. It's a bad one.
Me, I was I came into this with a 4, but after talking about it, I'm going 3.5 because I would rather watch Go Fish.
Oh, I would rather watch Go Fish.
Damn.
I'd rather watch the TV.
I gave Go Fish a 2, and I gave 2 2s on this episode.
Yeah. What would you rather watch, Moodz? This or Go Fish?
I would rather watch Go Fish than probably.
Go Fish is much
wow. See, that's what I'm saying. Because Go Fish is shorter.
This was boring as it's just disappointing. It's disappointing as fuck, right? Like
I would watch the TV cut of this again before Go Fish. But I would honestly, in all fairness, I would give Go Fish a 5. I would put these.
I like, dude. This movie to me was like absolutely like the. Out of everything we've done on here, this was the worst thing we've covered because I was just
we got to think our main review is a little better than this because we can't be having 2s as a main review. So I mean,
it's something different. At least
did we just create the Hall of Pain?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. That's
the Bloodline
that's a Hall of Pain title right there.
Oh my god, dude!
Our inaugural inductee.
Bad.
With a total of 9.5 out of 10.
Yeah.
Oh shit, for real?
Yeah, 4, 2, that's 6, 7, 8, 9 and a half.
He gave it a 5 though.
Yeah, but he doesn't.
You take the lowest 3.
Yeah, you take the lowest 3.
Take the lowest 3.
Yeah.
Or you take the highest 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
same thing with the top 10s. Take the highest 3.
Hall of Pain.
Well,
like
cool.
Sometimes
congratulations, Bloodlines.
Sometimes you can have a good looking movie that is just worse than like a shitty looking movie that's entertaining. Like, and that's what this is. Like, it is just a fucking boring as
I don't sell shit, but
like even on the surface level, dude, the fucking whole concept that this is about a pharmaceutical company that I could care so little about. That was such a bad move. It should have been like a fucking theme park or something. I would have probably liked it more. Like literally any other occupational like company, like a car company or something. Like
yeah, you can't relate to it.
I literally hate pharmaceutical shit.
Yeah, you can't relate to it. You hate them. They're rich. It's like, why do I even care about?
Yeah, I don't care about this girl's fucking fortune family fucking bullshit about some pharmaceutical company.
You're supposed to not like any of them.
Even her?
No, you can like her.
I didn't like her either.
They want you to like her.
But she's not likable because like she's basically inherited the whole thing. Doesn't know shit about it, and it makes the whole movie even worse. Like she's not a strong character in that aspect, right? It makes the whole movie not root for her because she's like doesn't know shit about shit.
Yeah,
right. And the whole narrative is revolved around her and her fucking her power.
She like stumbles her way from scene to scene.
Yeah, it sucks.
Accident to accident.
And like literally stumbles because she looks like a fucking skeleton.
Like,
skeletoid.
To like the inheritance like company is like irrelevant to me because all it is it is irrelevant because all it is about
a major part of the film.
No, it doesn't.
Did you say irrelevant or relevant?
It's
I missed it.
Because let me tell you why. Because this movie's not about any type of company. It's about people trying to kill this person so they can have majority share.
No, it's not. It's not even about that.
Yes, it is.
It's about even a part of it.
That's literally what the movie is. That's why they try to kill her like 18 times. It's literally about them trying to kill the
in the most poorly done aspect.
Yeah, they want.
Yeah,
they
it's not done well.
Well, because they want their money. I mean, it's clear.
Yeah, like it's not done well, but like that's like this is what the movie's about. Like it's not about pharmaceuticals.
Barely.
It's like that's just it could be any company. Like,
no, it's about greed. The whole movie is technically about greed.
To be fair though, like it has like you could do cars. Cars would work, but like to be fair,
the owner dies. The owner dies. Let's clean up. Let's clean up.
But like a baseball team doesn't work. Like it has to be something that's like fucking like generation for generation like wealth. Like it has to be something like crazy,
like a baseball team.
No, that's pennies compared to like a pharmaceutical like company.
Well, I guess so, but
still, that's why you could do cars.
The story would still
it's
apply,
enough money for somebody to conspire to kill someone over.
Yeah,
a football team.
Yeah, but like it's gotta be enough money that it makes all of them like rich forever.
Yeah, A football team's worth $1 billion, bro.
I just it's kind of it's kind
literally
of
$1 billion.
Yeah, dude.
It's kind of irrelevant. You also got to remember this is 1979, where I don't think a football team was worth $1 billion.
No.
You could buy one probably for fucking $5 billion at that time.
But I mean, I don't know.
Right. Literally anything else. I'll take a record company, dude. Fucking literally
it's just
else,
it's an irrelevant thing.
I'm with you, JP.
They spend a lot of time on it, dude.
Because they go to the factories. It will be the same thing if you went to a record company. You see boring shit.
It would be more interesting, would it not?
Yeah, it'd make a difference to me. It would.
I think the thing about the issues with the movie, I don't think really have anything to do with that. It has to do with
no, it does have to do with that, because the point is that when you spend the first 20 minutes of the movie in a boring fucking office talking and then go into a pharmacy, it's just so uninteresting that.
But how is it any different if they were just talking about cars? How is her father supposed to start a car company as a poor dude on the streets? I don't know. It's just I don't know.
The most interesting thing about the film is when the girl was racing fucking cars.
Yeah, that was pretty.
I'd like to see the whole fucking movie.
Yeah, that's true. See? That's why, dude, that's why, it was that they should have focused on all those characters, because they were all cool characters, and then we just got none of them. You had one that was a fucking race car driver. You got one that had 2 families. You had
I forgot about the 2 families, guys.
Yeah, she's bitching about her kids' teeth.
3 boys and 3 girls.
It's
what a weird little.
You have
subplot.
6. They gave. That's why I thought
subplots upon subplots that are so
That's why I
stupid.
thought it was gonna be a cool whodunit. You have the framing was even perfect, and you walk in and the guy's holding the rope, and I was here's 6 fucking unique characters, all the reason to kill her, and I thought we were gonna get some cool fucking movie with these 6 cool characters doing suspicious things, and we got not anything close to that.
We got
the worst thing about this movie is not the first.
It's
fucking,
a mess. It's a mess.
The fucking
Did you take
first
anything away from this movie where you're oh, that was unique, that was cool, that was nothing about this movie is fucking remote.
The setup, the way they.
When Ross shoots the dude, or when the German detective, when Goldfinger shoots the dude, that's the best thing in the movie.
It's the most basic setup in the world. There's fucking 6 people who don't like this new person coming in.
There's something so pretentious, man. You can't defend this movie. It sucks.
I'm not defending the movie, but it's dude, there's a part I like about the movie. I'm allowed to like.
Yeah, that's fine, dude. But I'm saying you're glazing it a little too hard by. I'm
not giving. You don't get to determine who's giving it too much credit. I can say you're giving it less, but you don't, because I'm giving my opinion.
And I'm giving my opinion on your opinion.
This thing's fucking Tim Hortons, man. It ain't fucking Krispy Kreme, man.
I'm allowed to glaze at that part and say
you are, and I'm allowed to say that you're dumb for doing it.
I guess you are allowed to say that, but I just think
it doesn't mean that
I don't think
it's pure fluff.
I think there's there's elements of this movie that felt classical 60s thriller to me that I did appreciate. I thought there was it was a well made movie from the production standpoint, and it's a movie that I was into that fell apart. I don't think it's that hurt. I've seen way worse movies.
Pretty sure he's playing with himself down there too.
I mean, dude,
I'm stretching.
Is it a film that is competent in its fucking production? Sure, but it's
kind of.
Right.
I think I had a really good setup, but we're just so far apart. If you guys are
Tyler, really good though, or just decent?
No, I thought I had a really good
If this movie came out in 2019 instead of 79, this would be complete ass. You would not be talking about this. Come on.
I'm giving it a 5
Take
out
your
of 10.
fucking retro goggles off, man.
Dude,
it's old school, but it fucking sucks.
Setups this for all of time, dude.
It's more than just you're simplifying.
I love that we're insinuating that Tyler's just glazing this fucking movie that he gave a 5 out of 10.
But I gave a 5 out of 10.
I did some donut references there, man. This is Tim Hortons. It's not fucking Krispy Kreme, man. Come on.
I just
Garbage.
don't think it's like horrendous. I think it's not good.
Listen, you're the one fucking thing that I just find hilarious is that it has a very good setup when the setup has been done 100,000 times before.
But dude, it's
even
like
before
okay, you're
it's executed so poorly.
No, you're like missing the forest for the trees about my comment though. Because part of this, like what I'm saying about the setup is you have this brilliant
you said the
shot.
right word. You're selling it. That's right.
You have this very good frame shot where they put the camera in the perfect spot where you have all the suspects down one side. You have Audrey right in the middle. She says, "I'm not selling the company." And then the detective walks in holding the rope right in the middle, and it changes the trajectory of the movie into a murder mystery. At this point, you had showed us 6 kind of cool characters. You had the race car driver, you had the guys with 2 family, you had all kind of unique characters, and it just falls apart from there. Like we're talking 30 minutes into the movie. That's what like caught me into this movie. I thought the first 30 minutes.
It had a decent setup.
That's
I
what
agree.
I'm giving it credit for. That's
the execution. We were talking about the execution.
That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
Very good is a little.
I agreed with
a little much.
I agreed with everything after. I said it falls apart. And I said all the things I think are bad about this movie. But I think like the first 30 minutes, it leads into a promising film that it fucks up on.
Well, of course it does. I mean, most movies do have.
I don't know why. I don't know why I'm getting like
because I'm just mad.
You gave this shit a 5. But you're defending a movie that you gave a 5 out of 10 for.
I'll defend a movie I gave a 3 out of 10. Like if I think there's things that are like that has like
you're missing the point that I'm like mad at you.
Yeah, but that's just like petty. I don't care.
Yes,
I watch terrible movies all the time.
Yeah, for me.
So
I don't want to watch terrible movies for you. Damn it.
I just watch terrible movies sometimes. It's part
Dude,
of
I'm having
movies.
fucking flashbacks of early shots, man. Holy fuck.
I'm mainly trolling, dude. You know how I am.
Shit. All right. Anyways,
I don't know how I got to the situation of like, whoa, how am I being accused of glazing a movie that I gave a 5 out of 10?
Because I funny.
Said this part was good. It was filmed well.
You had some dunk. Maybe it has some dunk in there.
Yeah, we'll say the DP probably was the only decent thing about this movie.
Like there is an element,
double,
like,
was there double penetration somewhere?
Like the thing about it too is like,
yeah.
The score kept making me laugh, and because of that, like it's something completely unique to me, but it makes me like the movie more because it just giggled.
Dude, it kills me to say that score sucked, man. But I was thinking I felt like I was watching a really bad episode of Dynasty.
It felt like a ripoff of Once Upon a Time in the West. Like he literally took the notes and he just like rearranged them a little.
Right.
Yeah, but it felt like you're watching late night fucking drama at that point. I was like,
that's why it made me laugh so much. This sounds like Once Upon a Time in the West, and they're like walking through fucking Poland or something, and it just made me giggle.
It felt so directionless. You know what I mean? Like none of it felt like it was so like it was even placed well.
Yeah.
If I had to make like a top 5 worst Morricone scores, like this one is definitely on that list.
100%, dude. I kept thinking to myself going, I can't believe Morricone did this, man.
Right.
Like the whole fucking time I was watching, I was like, this is crazy. It felt like a really bad episode, like I ever watched Dynasty, but I kept relating. It felt like a bad drama score to some shit I don't want to fucking watch anymore. I'm like, this
it did feel like a fucking nighttime soap, like a Dynasty episode.
100%. That's exactly how we interpret it.
It was probably a really good TV movie for that sort of thing.
With some random snuff things sprinkled in for no reason. Take those out and it's a fucking Dynasty episode.
Somebody explain it.
That's the worst part. It's like, the whole back half is just like, they made a mockery of like everything they built up. Oh, that stuff like this. I still don't understand like what the snuff stuff was. Like,
it makes no sense to me. It's not like that's like padding the time because the movie was already like it was already going to be long with that.
Because like it was filmed like so bad, and like I was so like perplexed when they had like an actual strangulation scene at the end. I was like, what? Like, why couldn't you do this every
did it
time?
to sell it better, honestly. You know what I mean?
It was just, it's just
like
they
used to insert hardcore scenes in movies.
The whole fucking marketing on the poster art and shit is all about that.
Yeah,
and it has nothing to do with the. It's such a fucking miss.
I don't
it's a bad movie.
I'm at a loss for like what like it was trying to communicate with that.
Yeah, it's fucking
Oh, that
bizarre.
reminds me. Speaking of laughing at scores, I meant to mention this during my review on that TV show that he did. Well, the score to the movie to the TV show was literally just Hitchcock's North by Northwest, and it made me fucking crack up so hard that this
Hmm.
random like '70s like Hong Kong show was just like yeah, she's this.
All right.
But
Yeah, I freaking gotta be up for work in a few hours, but release of the week, I mean, I don't really have much to say. If I was gonna vote based on the sounds of things, I feel like I like Tony's the best.
Yeah, I would pick mine. It was a fun movie, and I do really recommend those 2 short films that are on it.
Oh, I mean, 100% mine. Flesh Freaks. It's an absolute fucking great release, man. I mean, really? I didn't.
Yeah, it's
saw
a
it.
full-blown career retrospective. It's so
It
cool.
really is. This is a great release for like pretty much someone's entire career. It's amazing.
easy call,
And the films aren't that bad.
easy call.
Dude.
You went with Tony's,
it's-
even though you didn't see the
Tony's-
film. That's crazy.
this movie.
But
Just
Easy call,
based
my
on you
healthy
guys' review, that one sounded a little bit. I mean, the release of yours sounded better, but the movie of Tony's sounded more interesting. being
Yeah,
set on
it's
Halloween.
it's definitely more up your alley.
possibly. I think Flesh Freaks is.
So, what did you vote for, Tyler? Your movie?
Yeah, this movie for sure.
Okay, so Tony wins based on the fact that I didn't see a movie and I voted for it.
I am really excited to watch Tyler's movie, though.
Yeah, if you like any, like honestly, like if you like just Hong Kong crime movies, it's like a slam
I'm
dunk-
probably not going
slam
to pay
dunk
the
pick.
$45 for it. So, but
Nope, I'm just gonna watch it on the Criterion channel.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're on Criterion Channel.
So,
This is like a just standard release.
So what are we doing next month?
yeah, so I know that Tony is doing Ghost Dance.
Fucker.
Correct? Moodz is doing this fucking little thing here, Mindbenders.
No, that's what you're doing.
No, I'm not.
This is what Moodz is doing.
I'm
Why are
doing
you
night.
trying to get me to do shit that I'm not doing?
No, I'm doing night.
I'm doing okay. So Moodz is doing night. I'm doing Dow D for demons.
I
dog.
could have sworn you're doing Mindbenders.
Listen, bro. Stop confusing me.
Dude, I have you written down. Look at this. I literally have it written down. JP Mindbenders.
I have it written down too, and
Oh,
mine
shit.
says demons.
I mean, that's cool.
All right, whatever. Might as well just do gut pile at this time.
Maybe I'll do that one instead. Gut pile looks fun.
I've reviewed that before, man. It's fun. I love a gut pile.
I don't know what Tyler's doing. Let me look in this box and see what the most pretentious one is. Reflecting skin?
He's doing Corpse Binder. Quartz Mania. I mean,
I'm in
fuck.
Quartz Mania.
Wait, that doesn't seem right. Are you sure?
Yeah.
It's true.
Because
He
that
was gonna
seems
do
like
the
something-
Tenet.
That seems like something that's actually cool.
I was gonna do the
Corpse
Tenet,
Mania
but
is
we're gonna-
fucking awesome, dude. I have the
I like
DVD.
it.
That's great.
I got it. It's Shawscope, right?
I love
both
Corpse
the
Mania,
shots.
man.
I have both the Shawscope sets. Why would I not watch that?
I gotta say the
No, it's yeah.
the
What?
Tenet thing is pretty cool, man.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
gonna do the Tenet, but if we're gonna do the apartment trilogy, I'll just save it for that.
I know it
I'll probably
feels
just
kind of
watch
weird that
my-
we're not doing that, but okay. But
Yeah, no, I think that if we were gonna do it, it would have been the featured review. I feel, but we're gonna cover the apartment trilogy on 22 shots like fairly sooner than later.
Yeah.
So I would rather just hold off on
Yeah.
that. And then the featured review is gonna be our biggest one yet with 3 films. Forgotten Gialli Volume 7 here. We got Mystery, Obsession, A Taste of Fear, and Sweets from a Stranger. Has anybody seen any of these?
I don't think so. I don't think I've seen
I haven't seen
any of
any.
them.
I
So
thought it was
they
5.
really
I thought it was
are-
5 films. Nice.
5?
Yeah, I thought it was
Trying to
five.
kill us?
I thought it was 5.
I wish it was 5.
They're always 3.
I don't have
movies.
any of
always
those.
been 3.
I don't have any of them.
Oh, this one looks cool.
I'm borrowing
Yeah.
dance.
Getting some New York Ripper vibes.
So I never looked at the years. Like, what's the years?
So we got 87 for this one, which is nice to me.
It's gonna be awesome already.
This one is also 87.
Nice.
And this one is 83. So we got all 80.
Oh yeah, right. It's all 80. Okay.
Hell yeah,
Nice.
sick.
I'm pretty looking forward to these, honestly. 95 minutes, 92 minutes.
380s
and
Cialos?
88 minutes, dude. This is fucking my year, man. All these are short.
Well, it better be because we got fucking like 8 films to watch for, or watch
Franco
7
Ferrini,
films.
Picaio Raffiani, and Carlo Zena. I don't know any of those guys. Those are directors.
They must be forgotten.
Yep. So pretty cool. I'm kind of looking forward to this one. I think that and the reason we picked that box set for next month is because November is Italian horror month, so it just fits perfectly with what we're doing on 22 shots and stuff. So that's pretty cool.
Yep.
Definitely should be a better month than this month, which I think hands down was our worst month.
Yeah, I can
Worst month
pretty
ever.
much. I can already guarantee it'll be better, just because of Ghost Dance.
Was the highest rated movie a 7.5?
Yeah, Bloodline was the killer this month, man. That was fucking brutal. That was fucking brutal.
Yeah,
Was the
7.5. Yeah, that
Wow.
was the highest.
That's crazy.
It's pretty fucking bad when I would rather watch Go Fish than Bloodline.
Yeah, that's saying something, bro.
Bloodline was literally a fucking snooze fest. God, it was bad.
Kind of like, I definitely won't like anytime remotely soon, if ever. Right? Like, I'm puzzled by like what is in that half hour that they cut out.
Oh my god, dude.
Dude, stop
Watch
dwelling
it.
on it, man. Just move on. Go watch Akira.
No,
Go watch one
Tyler.
of your fucking pretentious Criterion
no,
films
that's
behind
the-
you, man.
the
He's like,
problem is-
I need to
Watch
He's
that
dwelling
shit.
on it.
Maybe
He's
the
dwelling
half
on it. He's like,
hour is better.
why is this movie so bad? There's got to be
Then he's
something
gonna
better
come
in the
back to
TV
us
cut.
next week and
Dude,
be like,
like,
guys,
that's the
I tell you
thing,
one thing.
we
I
watched
tell you
the
one
wrong
thing,
cut.
Tyler.
We watched the wrong cut.
If you watch the TV cut, they're gonna cut out the titties from the snuff film scenes.
Yeah.
They're gonna make up with more exposition.
What possibly could they use to like exposit in this
Maybe
movie?
we spend more time.
I don't know,
with
but
it.
they're gonna do it, man. They're gonna fucking do it, bro.
Like, it's just like,
Tell
I'm
me when you
wondering-
watch it. Tell me when you watch
No,
it.
well, like,
Tell-
see, the problem is like the biggest thing that's holding this back. Like, if I'm gonna sit down and invest how fucking long and 141 minutes into this movie, like, I have a lot better 141-minute movie sitting on my shelf that I still need to watch.
You know what's really
Watch that
fucked
shit
up
on
this week?
1.5.
You know what's really
Fuck
fucked
that
up?
shit.
I've been like crunch time this week with like watching movies and stuff. I watched 4 movies this week that were 2 hours plus. Isn't that fucked up?
Damn.
It's a lot of 2-hour movies, man.
I watched 2 that were over 2 hours. The Substance and Terrifier 3.
Terrifier 3, Bloodline. I watched the Slasher 2-hour cut, and I
Did
watched...
you ever end up getting The Substance?
No, never did.
Dude, you suck.
No, I don't suck. My
I can't
talent
believe you
sucks.
didn't watch that shit.
It's on MV. We can send
Yeah, I know it's the one movie right now that I'm behind on for everybody. So it's
Everyone's glazing that movie.
Yeah, I fucking glazed it hard. I glazed it
Yeah,
as hard
it's-
as Tyler.
Oh, I
glazed
saw it. I saw
Bloodline.
you.
We
literally-
we went hard because like Dave Z was trying to like poke holes and we're like, nah, you are not gonna do this. Like, this movie covers itself.
Yeah, he crispy creamed that one right there.
Yeah, even Carly loved it.
So the
Yeah,
wife texted me
like-
today. I'm out delivering mail, and she's like, "I just watched Long Legs," and she's like, "I loved it." I'm like, "What the fuck? You just randomly watched it?" She loved it.
Good movie too.
Hell yeah.
I
Great
love
movie.
it too. Yeah.
Tyler's favorite movie.
This should be a pretty exciting.
I think
top 10
you and
this year.
Dave are fucked, man. I think, and she's like, I'm like, "What do you think of Nick Cage?" And she's like, "Oh my god, creepy as fuck." I loved it.
You and Dave are fucked.
Me and
was that
Dave are
mean?
the long leg deniers.
Tyler and
Oh.
Parker, they don't like it.
Wait, no, Parker likes it, didn't he?
No, he doesn't.
I thought he gave it an 8.
He was 6.
Oh wow.
No, he literally said he doesn't like it. He gave it a 6 based on the film. He doesn't like Nick Cage or the movie really itself, but it's well made.
Dave Parker doesn't like Nick Cage.
He's like
in that movie.
I think his biggest criticism was like he feels like it's too goofy for as seriously as it wants you to take it.
He had the same criticism
What?
for Kevin or to Bacon in Maxine.
Well, yeah, I agree with him on that.
I
Like,
actually have no
honestly,
problems
Actually,
with that
I don't
performance.
I don't have problems with Bacon. I have problems with the fucking dad.
Yeah, I have problems with the writing, but like I don't think
Yeah.
like the I don't.
I thought
like,
Kevin Bacon's performance in Maxine
Yeah, well,
was
the thing
actually
about
quite
Maxine,
fun.
It was fun.
The thing about
I
It was
loved him in
creepy, it was-
Maxine.
yeah, I don't have any answer. He was good at Maxine. The thing about Maxine is like this Ty West doing his thing where he's just gonna throw a bunch of references and a bunch of goofy stuff because that's what he likes to do. And if you like his movies, you're gonna like that too. So it's like
I fucking
he's
love
just doing what he
Maxine.
likes.
I
And,
thought it
like,
was
some
so
people like
good.
that. Like it's not like
I,
it was.
I get why people don't like it because it's not what they
Yeah.
were expecting, but what they did with it was so good, man.
Yeah, like
in my
I've been
opinion.
saying since Maxine, like is like
Or
Maxine.
what Ty West did with it.
Yeah, like I was like, I feel like Ty West is a lot like Eli Roth or like Rob Zombie now because they're just doing the thing they want, and a lot of people criticize them. They may have valid criticisms about what they're saying, but people who like those don't give a fuck because they're doing the things they like anyway.
100%. All right, dudes.
Yeah, I gotta go.
We're done. We're done. Episode 10, Simbin. All right, man. We'll be back next month with episode 11, and it should be a little bit more fun.
Better.
Definitely going to be a longer episode.
To be
It'll
fair,
be a longer episode, yeah.
To be fair, I felt like this was one of the funner episodes that we've done
Yeah.
in terms of like talking.
It is
Yeah.
fun to talk shit.
Yeah, because I talked mad shit on Tyler tonight, and it made me feel better. So
We just need more films that Tyler loves and we hate. It's good shit.
No,
it might happen with the Giallo box set though too. He might hate those and we might love them, so it might be fun. So it might be the opposite.
I don't know. Tyler's a much bigger Giallo fan than I am. I don't really love Giallos that much.
Really, still? Jesus Christ! Dude.
No, I mean I like some, but like they're not like my cup of tea necessarily. You know, I like Italian horror, but Giallos in particular.
I love the sleaziness.
Some, but there's a lot of fucking not ones that I like too. But yeah, I'm super curious. The interesting aspect is these are 80s Giallos, so that could be completely different because, as you know, like the Giallo was really early 70s. You know, like that's its peak. So when you get these later 80 ones, it's always interesting to see what they did.
Yeah. And not only that, like all three movies are completely blind to all of us. So it's going to be really interesting to see how we're coming in.
Yeah,
really
when's
weird.
the last time something like that happened, you know?
Never.
Yeah, dude.
Torture Chamber, probably.
Torture Chamber?
Yeah, Chinese torture chamber. Yeah, totally.
Oh, yeah, 2 movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, that shit was wild. But yeah, this could work out pretty well or it could work out pretty shitty. Who knows? But
even if the movies suck, I still think it's like, for historical purposes, I'll probably find something interesting about them.
Oh, of course.
Unlike Bloodline.
That's like literally what I did in Bloodlines. I felt interesting historical things.
Well, there is one historical thing that's interesting. It is the only R-rated movie that Katharine Hepburn ever made.
Really?
Wait until Dark's not.
And it's only R-rated because
R?
those bullshit snuff scenes in there.
That's the only reason. Is the snuff shit.
Wait until Dark isn't rated R? That's crazy.
No, that's a PG movie.
There's like fucking drugs.
Isn't it one of her first films to come back from acting? Because she took a while off there, right? And she came back and did that movie.
Did she not really act in the 70s?
I don't know. I will. Yeah, like honestly, all this stuff.
There was a period where she didn't do shit. She might have done a couple things before this, but honestly, it was kind of a return.
All the stuff I've seen from Audrey is in the 60s.
Hey guys, I gotta go.
All right, guys, we're out of here.
Down that rabbit
we're
in episode.
Let's have another review about fucking Bloodline.
Let's talk about Audrey Hepburn.
Peace.
All right, guys.
I thought he was frozen.